to start.
All right, I'll give you a.
I see the thing just came up, so.
Okay. They can hear us talking, but who cares? It's more content for you guys.
3M.
This is a Patreon exclusive, except you don't have to pay. You can pay jack shit for it, actually. So
Pre-show conversations. Who's going first? You going first? I'm going first.
On patrons, cover your eyes.
You guys aren't allowed to come on until we're at least 10 minutes into it and 3 beers in.
You can listen, but just know that we're judging you the entire time.
Whatever comes first, 10 minutes or 3 beers.
Are you a fan of Star Wars? Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes? What about beer? If so, this may be the podcast for you.
Brick,
Yeah?
you're talking like that again.
Well, we are cutting an introduction for our podcast.
Do you think we should maybe crack a beer first?
I shouldn't.
all right, we've got 0 viewers. Let's roll with this thing.
They'll get on.
And the nice thing is that they can't hear us talking right now. So
Yeah. When a tree falls in the woods.
Exactly. I'll be right back. I have this intro thing playing, so.
Are you a fan of Star Wars? Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes? What about beer? If so, this may be the podcast for you.
Brick,
Yeah?
you're talking like that again.
Well, we are cutting an introduction for our podcast.
Do you think we should maybe crack a beer
I was doing
first?
my last fleet feat that was the Bounty Hunter Empire one. I had neglected that one. And I had to reset my fleet just now, and I just turned it on auto because I really didn't care. I don't need to move up. I just want to reset my fleet and just beat one of the toughest ones in the whole shard
Nice.
to get back into second place. I was like, oh, I can just auto this? I've never actually autoed. I don't do that.
I will never trust auto. I could know that
No.
I'm gonna win in like 2 turns. It's just like no, I have to.
Yeah.
I have to control this.
Especially in like an arena climb, it's like I can't mess around. I've got 5 attempts. I don't want to have to waste crystals.
I have missed arena payouts. Like I kill a key character in a fight. And I'm like, all right, there's no way the AI loses this. Come back to my phone 2 or 3 hours later, just like
Are you a fan of Star
minus 200
Wars?
crystals.
Yeah,
Good
Star
stuff.
Wars Galaxy of Heroes?
All right, you guys ready?
I'm ready to roll. Let's go.
If so,
Let's do it.
this may be the
Curtis is
podcast
here
for
and
you.
the Prime
Brick.
Force. All right, we're live.
All right, welcome to episode 58 of Galaxy of Beeroes. On today's show, we are honored to have Fatal of the Playbook YouTube and Twitch channel. Today we are recapping our GAC outcomes, discussing the 5th anniversary gifts, and at the very end of the episode, we're going to do our scene-by-scene analysis of the 5th episode, chapter 13 of The Mandalorian, entitled The Jedi. Welcome.
Head on over to the cantina, man. Yeah, let's have a drink here with Fatal.
Hey, I'm Fatal. Look at me. I got my name over me.
Oh, I got. Damn it! You're not
Looking
supposed to
down there.
point that out. Thanks for being here, Fatal, man. We're glad to have you. Appreciate it, dude.
Thanks for having me. Absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers. So we're
Cheers,
gonna be drinking here. So you got some Larceny
I do.
whiskey. You
Just drinking right out of the bottle. I like that.
yeah.
Was gonna grab a glass, but didn't really feel like getting up, so
Fuck it. No, fuck it.
I'm the only whiskey drinker in my house, so it works out. I don't need an excuse.
That's cool. I picked some up as well. There we go. Your names
There
are
it is.
your names are straight.
I like seeing my name fly around the screen just now.
Whee!
That was cute.
Fatal not fucking around, Curtis blows. I like it.
I could be Darth for today if we need.
Hey, Prime Force, thanks for dude. Your bot is awesome. Been using the crap out of that. The one that lets you know when people attack in GAC.
I just
That
got that
is-
one. Yeah, that one's pretty dope. Yep.
It's one of those rare moments where like we just straight up never had the chance to do this before, and just fantastic bot.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
So
And
good.
it's free.
Exactly.
Yeah, super cool. I just got it like 2 or 3 days ago. And then the first time that I had it on, like my opponent didn't attack, and I was like, I don't think this is working. I need to contact the dev on this. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, he didn't attack. Cool.
This goddamn
Go-
bot is faulty.
Go yell at Prime Force for why your opponent didn't attack.
Yeah.
You'll get right on it.
But yeah, so we're drinking some whiskey. I'm drinking whiskey. This is Larceny. This is John E. Fitzgerald Larceny, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. And I dipped into this for Thanksgiving because I thought it sounded really good. Yeah, that's it. So I'll read the back real quickly. You know, let's drink first. Well, you already took a swig, so I need to catch up here. Oh yes, that's delicious. Nodes of oak,
What's the mouthfeel on that?
leather, stingy. No, I don't know.
Got a stingy afterbirth.
No, it's very smooth. It's just a good tasting whiskey. I'm not the flavorful, or I don't have the fanciful. Is that a word? Descriptors like Darkit does.
I just
The big
make them
sell
up
on
or pull them off the internet. So
The big sell on it that got me to try it at first was it was a cheap whiskey that got rated in like the top 10 for I think 2019. So it's just like, all right,
yeah,
Yeah,
not gonna cost me that much to try. Let's see. I'm like, oh, actually,
with whiskeys, I mean, I wouldn't know the difference. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
I know a bad whiskey, and then like anything that's like medium to good. After that, it's like, yeah, this is great. I like it. So.
yeah. If you spend more than Jack Daniel's amount on whiskey, I think you're probably in pretty safe territory. I did not have a hangover too after drinking copious amounts of this around Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
that's another good indicator of a decent alcohol, in my opinion. What are you drinking, Darkit?
I am drinking beer. I'm drinking Founders Moon Rambler IPA. It's a new one that they're putting out now in 15 packs. It's only available December through March, I think. But it's definitely a good one. It's got milk sugar in it, so kind of hazy. They use Azacca, Mosaic, and Cascade hops. 6.4%, 49 IBUs. It's a good solid one. I've had quite a few of these already, so it's not going to be like my first taste, but definitely check it out if you get Founders in your area.
awesome.
Nice. Yes, Founders is always solid, man.
Let's just look this up.
Where are you based out of, Vadal, if you don't mind?
Midwest.
Okay.
Kind of hovering between Missouri and Illinois, St. Louis and Chicago.
Gotcha. Okay.
Comes and goes.
So we got 3 Midwest boys here. 3
Oh, there we
Midwest
go.
Star Wars. Yeah, we hail out of Michigan, and Founders is from Michigan, so maybe you can get it where you're from.
I'm pretty sure we got some around.
Yeah, they're pretty much everywhere now.
Yeah, that's true.
They've gone more or international.
Yeah, they have.
All right. So let's get into some boosts, boasts, and beers and whiskey. What do you guys think?
Hey,
I'm down.
All right. Hey, Ricky P, what's going on? Thanks for making me Thursday. He said we're making him thirsty on a Monday evening. You should,
Hey.
man. I was watching your GAC earlier, so why not have a drink? The battle's over.
time to enjoy the conclusion of 3v3
Yes.
and hopefully forget it.
Good riddance.
You want to go first, Darkit?
Yeah, sure. So as I've been talking about over the last few episodes, I'm focusing on Jamal. My Rebel Y-Wing is now 7-star. Didn't need to take it all the way, but I wanted to see if I could do anything in Lightside Geo with it. So it's been really helpful in GAC when my opponents get to my fleets. It does hold up here and there, so that's kind of cool. Like, it's a new weapon, and I can save Houndstooth for my Negotiator. Depending on the opponent that I'm facing, if I feel like I need to go in with a hard-hitting Negotiator, I can save it. A couple other boosts on the Jamal race. I did R7, R2D2. I did that a couple days after our recording. R5 Lando. So now I have 2 of the 3 sets of requirements done. Now I'm on I did the second and third ones because I was closer on those, and now I'm on the first one, which is the JTR Chupio Mon Mothma one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm close on JTR. She's Relic 5. I can pretty much get her to 7 with the signal data I have saved up, but I'm kind of behind on Electrium conductors. Those fucking things are a pain in the ass right now because I've wasted all of them on all these other tunes.
Fatal's waving.
We got the holiday gauntlet coming up with all of the assault battles, so you actually might be able to finish there.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Should be super
Yeah.
convenient timing.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I got Chupio and my Mothma to gear 11. It's gonna be slow for shard farming, but double drops definitely help me. I started a background farm to maybe go towards Malik after I finish with Jamal. So during double drops, I was pushing Karth and Nasty Basti and got quite a few, like 40 shards of Nasty Basti. I don't know. I wasn't counting on Karth, but pretty good. Yeah.
Nice.
Been good stuff. The shard economy changes have been awesome. I think overall, like just having those 2 shards, they'll drop out of some of those nodes, and then the double drops made it even better. So I'm finishing characters that I really didn't care about, 7-star in them at least, so that eventually I can gear them up. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's it for you?
that's it for me. Yep.
All right. I 7-starred Grief Karga. I 7-starred the Rebel Y-Wing as well.
Yeah, mine were even. Like Grief was still like 30 behind.
Yep, same here.
My Y-Wing was 30 behind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. Chupio I also 7-starred. And then Zetas I had a shit ton of Zetas. I gave Rex his Zeta. I gave Piet with the free Zeta we got from the 5th anniversary rewards, which we'll talk about. I gave that to Piet for suborbital strike, and he's awesome. I love Piet. I also gave Chewbacca Loyal Friend. I don't know. I just didn't have it. I don't know why. That's the only Zeta that he has right now.
Have to have that one.
Yeah. And then I gave Django his unique Zeta, Notorious Reputation, which it just was not on my radar. I already assumed that his attacks prevented revives, but I didn't realize you need a Zeta in order to do that. And I want to use him more to counter or potentially counter Night Sisters in the future, Cause, it'd just be nice to have more than 1 or 2 teams. I don't know, just give you a little more flexibility and maybe do some more creative things with bounty hunters eventually.
What gear level are your bounty hunters?
They're not great. I mean, I think Django's just he's a prick to get to gear 12.
Django's awesome.
He's awesome. I love him, but just gear 11 to gear 12 alone, just all the pieces that all of my.
That's why mine's sitting at gear 11 for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
I just don't really want to either.
It's brutal, but most of them are I don't know, mixture of gear 12s and 10 to 11s, but priorities, like everybody in this game, it's just hard to pick a lane. And am I going to prioritize bounty hunters over potentially getting a galactic legend? I don't know.
Nah.
Then I brought Dooku up to R6, so he's ready for Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine when I decide to do that. And then I brought Nest up to R5, gear 13 as well.
Sweet.
So
Nice.
I'm excited. I think that's where I'm going to leave her for now. I don't know. Fatal, do you have any opinions of Nest and preferred relic levels?
Two.
If you're using Nest for Padme type deals, you probably wanted to be at relic 7. I kind of parked at relic 6.
Okay.
It was just trying to pretend that it was relic 7, and I get a timeout every now and then. It kind of depends on what mods you're giving her, what you got available.
Yeah.
Mort says R7.
I know, yeah. he loves him some Nest. What's up, Mort? Thanks for popping in, man. And Savitar, how you doing? We got a new Savitar follow. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Sweet.
So I don't know. I don't know how
Relic 7 if you want that security mind. Relic 6 if you just want a little bit extra spice and a little bit extra stress when you're trying to do it. You never know what can happen.
It already feels like a real butt clencher using Nest. It just every time I'm like, am I an idiot? I'm trying to solo, and then you wait 3 minutes and you're like, oh no, this was great. She starts nuking people. Yeah.
It's the worst stream content for 4 minutes straight of just all right, we're done.
Right.
Take your time. And, the last 30 minutes or 30 seconds is just complete, clenching. Just.
Yep.
Okay, we're fine this time.
Yeah.
We made it.
Yep.
Nice.
And thank you for the follow, Oily Sniper. Appreciate it. Everything else can go through Fatal, but Nest is mine. That's funny.
Flash.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got her done. I'm excited to use her in 5v5, which is coming back. Thank God.
Whew, can't wait.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
So that's all I had. How about you, Fatal? What kind of upgrade did you make recently?
So this is like a really awkward time to answer this question. Me and Blade, if you're familiar, Blade Baca, current resident Discord Galaxy Hero Simp, we have this gut feeling that we're kind of experimenting with, where we're actually not going for Sith Eternal Emperor. I want to say, as I'm saying this, don't take this as suggestion or recommendation. If anything, honestly, you should probably just park and wait and see what's going on. But with the gear that I was hoarding up for Sith Eternal Emperor, the idea is, I did stop by, I did farm the heck out of Pyatt. Pyatt Imp Troopers are phenomenal, especially with that fix where they now gain Terminator on Emperor's Trap. It's gross.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. I feel bad for even using it. But yeah, so kind of picking up a couple of pretty strong, I think now, B teams. I'm trying to like blend good stuff with also grabbing Mandalorian characters. So we have picked up Cara Dune for Rebel Fighters, and then got the POW Zeta and got POW and Hoth Rebel Scouts at Gear 13. So, okay. The Mandalorian characters are actually ridiculously expensive on gear. If you're going to even try to do this, make sure that you double check. I promise you it's more gear than you think. It's terrifying. It's actually like almost as much gear for 5 people as it is for Sith Eternal Emperor. I didn't exactly know what I was signing up for at first. But
Yikes.
we're walking out of here with 3, I think, really competitive teams right now. Obviously, I'm not grabbing a Galactic Legends. I have 3 of the other ones, so it's not as big of a miss, and I don't think Sith Eternal Emperor is exactly
Not
make
that-
or break.
No.
But the hope is, have a much more competitive offensive line that I can work with, and then it might even open up opportunities to go harder on defense too. So
Yeah.
That is kind of the sneaky thing about, I feel like, most of the new characters. Like, even Piet, getting him from, I think he's gear 11 right now for me, getting him to 12. Like, he needs a shit ton of Kairos. Like, I guess that's par for the course. They're giving the newer characters the newer gear that they've introduced and, kind of gating it that way. But it is kind of a sneaky little thing that they do.
I wish Kairos were my problem almost. It's insane. I swear that my guild's request chat right now is all Mark IV comlinks, if you know them. The Mandalorian roster needs like 400 of them, and you can't really get them from shops that conveniently. Like they're rare.
Okay, I'll have to look at that.
So like I went hard on Kairos. I was like, we got plenty of Kairos banked up. I'm feeling good. I was gonna have like enough for full Sith Eternal Emperor, and then just like pivot to Mando, and suddenly I'm just like, I don't even remember to request most days. Honestly, I'm just bad at remembering stuff.
Yeah,
I do not miss a day now. Just like, please God, 5 more, please. We
Right.
need like 450 these puppies. It's not gonna happen if we don't
crazy.
keep getting this.
And what's up, Promethean Death? Thanks for hopping in. Appreciate it. Sorry, I saw you talking in chat earlier and we didn't give you recognition.
You started farming those during double drops? Me too. 100% me too. If I had extra energy for the day, not Kairos and not finishers, just comlinks. Who knew?
Good old comlinks. Anything else? That's about it, Fatal?
Not really. Just trying to hit on the 3 main teams. I took Mandalorian to gear 11, like kind of prematurely. Honestly, if I was doing this strategy responsibly, there's no reason to do them now. I should just be waiting until that Mandalorian character gets revealed, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah. Do you have any inclination as to what it, like, Beskar Mando, I've heard, or anything like that?
It was either going to be Beskar Mando or Gideon, and they confirmed Gideon as a marquee. So and they gave the Beskar like teaser, right? There's no way it's not going to be Beskar Mando.
They did have that
Yeah,
little tip
I've
of
got
the
an
hat
idea that we can't talk about right now because we're not in the spoiler section, but
Oh, okay.
The one thing I can say that's not going to be spoilers, but I think is I'll go on record with a prediction. So I think current Mando will be a journey. I don't think that's that hot of a take. But if you look at the format for Luke and you look at what they said for what they're bringing out for season 2 or planning to, I think we're going to see another repeat of like the fairly recent Jedi Knight Luke events where we're going to get a journey continues as the next thing.
yep,
Yeah.
I can see that.
I keep thinking Tuscans are going to be required, so I keep like just chipping away at Tuscans when I see them. I forget which shop it is, like the Cantina. Is it like the Cantina?
I don't even know.
Yeah, one of them's
I
in
don't know.
that.
There's
yeah,
one
I
of
think
them
it's
in there,
Cantina.
and you get
Yeah.
10 now, so it's like I don't know. Why
Who cares?
not?
Yeah. Fuck it.
Probably against my better judgment.
Yeah.
And thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, Promethean Death. You know, we shout you out just so we can get the follow, and then from there it's just, you know, whatever. You know, no, I'm just kidding.
Immediate unfollow.
No. Please don't What if there was an unfollow button? That would be fun.
There might be.
And Prime
There's like
Force,
a sound that comes out. It's like pew, pew, pew. It's
Right.
just beer pouring down like a stone or something.
Right.
Not being enjoyed, just being wasted.
Right
down the
just
drain.
Right down the drain. All right. Well, we're gonna get to know Fatal here. That's the main event. So let's. What do you guys say we hop on over to the hard meat? What do you guys think?
Starving for some meat.
All right.
I'm done.
Why do you always make it uncomfortable by saying that? You're always like, I'm starving for some meat. All right. It's playing. You guys can't hear it, but it just played. All right. So we want to get to know Fatal here. You first popped on my radar. I think I saw your YouTube channel, The Playbook. I've seen you've had multiple videos pop up in my feed just over the months, I guess. Recently, really good tutorials like on the Shadows, Secrets and Shadows event. I used your strategy to help beat Challenge Tier 1 because previously I just really struggled with my Night Sisters in that event.
Right.
And then I also I think the main introduction was when you were on the Gambit when you did their live stream, and you've been on my radar for a while and well respected in the community. So I definitely wanted to get to know you a little better and kind of ask you some questions if that's all right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So just get.
What if you said no?
It's been
this
great,
just got
guys. I'm
awkward.
going to be piecing out for the evening.
Yeah.
No.
So maybe just for the uninitiated, like what's your GP level? Do you have any GLs, and which ones do you have, if so?
Yeah, so I was known as a lean player for a long time, although lean now with Galactic Legends is that's funny. I remember when I used to be like 2.5 million GP. Currently I'm at like 5.6, and I'm sitting on 3 Galactic Legends. We got Rey, Kylo, and Jedi Master Luke. And
Sweet.
Maybe not going for Eternal Emperor. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So
Who's your favorite of those 3?
My roster tends to be Jedi heavy, so I'd almost say Jedi Master Luke.
Please say Jamal. Please say Jamal.
That's who Darket's going for. So you.
Like even honestly, my favorite JML team was actually Kiadi Mundi. Even when he was just like 3-star, like gear 8, just like if you like, there's never a good reason to do this, but if you park like JML, Grandmaster Yoda, JKL, and Kiadi Mundi in there, there's so much turn meter flying around. It's stupidly ridiculous. And like even that gear 8, once he's crit immune, he does not die ever.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Don't take his time to make it. Don't do it. But as long as you don't.
I don't think I've ever seen him actually be used before because we have like 21 shards of him,
Yeah. We're
So-
both
so,
smaller accounts, like in the 4 million range, Division 2. Just if you weren't aware.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I gotcha. But like once you get him unlocked, like don't sweat the 7-star or anything. If you've got JML, just toss him in there, put him in Makashi. Everything that his Makashi basic does doubles down on what Luke's lead ability does. So you're getting like 30% turn meter, double protection regen. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
I recommend.
Nice. And
excited.
if you want, Curtis in chat actually just asked, can you talk more about why you're not going for Seep?
So again, I want to caveat this with like, don't take this as a recommendation. I don't know if this is the right choice. I would say this is a risky strat, and like, again, the responsible thing here would be wait to see what the event reward is. But the general idea is we're weighing 1 GL with the rest of the requirements that I don't have. I picked up Pyatt. I picked up Gear 13 Stark. Those are 2 excellent characters. You will always be using them. No questions asked. Everything else of like Dooku, Maul, Krennic is just like, okay, these characters, like maybe if you give them relics, they're kind of usable. Dooku still kind of fringe like GAC team. But if you take that gear and you push it off to like, okay, what if we're hitting like grab the Imp Troopers. Okay, that's a lock, but like, put that aside from Sith Eternal Emperor. Then we're getting like good bounty hunter team, right? So I had like Gear 13 Bosk forever, but the rest of my bounty hunter team was like a living travesty. Like, okay, what if we pick up Mandalorian Grief, which is also going to be the upcoming event, so that kind of works off. And then Cara Dune, which, I picked up Jedi Master Luke, so we already kind of had Mon Mothma, but like nothing else. So, and then POW and Scout aren't really that expensive pickup wise. It's like, I think it's like a combined like 100 to 150 stun guns, which like if you're hoarding for a Sith Eternal Emperor, that's like a quarter of what you had saved up most likely. So I don't know, just the whole idea being like, is it better to get a Galactic Legend who like isn't insane? He's more of like a convenience pickup, and then you have the rest of this roster, which is like it's kind of skippable to like not entirely usable. We don't know what Gideon's going to bring, right? This is the other thing of what I'm saying. Of like, it's possible Gideon is going to make those Sith Eternal Emperor requirements look really good suddenly, and like I'll just be sitting here like, I got a Gear 11 Mandalorian who's just going to be parked here for like 3 months, man. I don't know what I was thinking, but like for now, right? Like investment wise, if we're bringing 3, I think really competitive B teams versus 1 Galactic Legend, I think it's just kind of more interesting right now. And then like I have like I'll tell your motives, doing LSTB streams. I'm supposed to be able to make a Mon Mothma guide at some point, so I just kind of felt like I might as well. Like, I don't do anything for PvE content. I always do it for PvP, but it's like, okay, we've got a good PvP team. I'll be using them here elsewhere. Like,
yeah,
why not?
Your light, just as a sidebar, your light side light side GOTB streams are really informative. They're and you're putting up like ridiculous waves, like in the 60s, right? Isn't it?
I finally hit my goal of 70 completed. So
Wow. That's amazing.
That's crazy.
It's I would say it's honestly more effort than it's worth, but I think that should be even more telling for why I keep doing it, because honestly I think it's some of the most fun to be had in Galaxy of Heroes right now. Like, as frustrating as it is to start off with it when you don't understand it, you're not moving mods and everything. If you treat it as like actual, like, okay, this is endgame content, I'm showing with my best stuff, I put my best mods on, I think it's a lot of fun. Like, honestly, there's very little RNG. If you know what you're doing, you're going to be walking out. Like, let's say you have a bad month and like you're expected as like, okay, I can hit like 65 or whatever. You're still walking out with like 60, right? It's not like you bomb out bad RNG every day and you're just like, okay, I just got nothing done. Sorry, guys. Like, I think, and especially, right, because we all play the same assault battles. We've seen like tier 2, tier 3. The stats are just jacked ridiculously. And like, they're beatable. They're totally beatable. But like, Geonosis Lightside Territory Battle feels like good, fair content. Even more fair than like Darkside, right? Because like they cheat the stats on Darkside in a way that Lightside doesn't. And yeah, I think it's just good stuff.
Yeah, I saw you using some pretty gnarly comps too. Like you had Nest and did you have L3 with Nest?
I decided that I was going to go for the Kiadi Mundi mission on the last day, like out of the blue. And so I really like JTR and Lightside Territory battles, even in later phases. I think that's something that I try to get people aware of is, day one, she's pretty easy. That's whatever. That's not news. But the later days, if you build them right, I think she still is one of the best teams you can build. And like, you're brawling it out at the start. I put out a guide that shows you how to tilt that RNG a lot more in your favor. But it's like, okay, we've got like, if you get to day 4 in LSTB on both phases, it's like, okay, gas is locked. Padme with the Nexu mission is like, okay, Padme,
right.
Anakin, GK locked. We've got a GR Jedi special mission that I had to fulfill. So I basically just ripped up my entire plan and was just like, I had Galactic Legends Rey with Resistance, and I was just looking at it just like, this is a trash TB team. It's like Rey, Resistance Zero, Finn and Poe, which is not how I normally run that team, and that it's not that bad in itself. But someone mentioned it, and I just like fell on that train immediately. Like, okay, Rey with Scoundrels, like, you get Vandor, Chewie, really, really good lifeblood target. Stick Nest in there. It's kind of like a slower, grindier comp, but like it totally worked, man. And I think that was a really cool moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Really cool.
I mean, that's one of the appealing things about it. And I think like speaking for like lower accounts like or mid-tier accounts, I guess you could say, like Darken at Night, it's like we're not getting that far into that TB and,
sure.
and not completing, if we're lucky to get if we get a 4 out of 4, it's like we're doing backflips kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm doing like 23 to 25, depending on, RNG.
So like for LSTB, my message to people, if I could, hop on a soap stool for a second, is like,
by all means.
I'm not sitting out here saying like you too can get 70 with your roster. It's like no, of course,
no,
like,
I know.
you pick up power characters, of course.
Yeah.
Like whenever you pick up like a light side galactic legend, I would almost like I treat it like an expansion pack of like, okay, suddenly I can put this team here. This means I can push these characters over here and suddenly do like that mid Jedi mission.
Yeah.
It's like one of the like you pick up Rey, all of a sudden, hey, we've got Jedi in mid. Like you pick up Jedi Knight Luke, and then suddenly, hey, Revan's moving up to mid. It's actually a lot better for him. We've got Jedi Knight Luke in south. But the thing I would say is, if you walk into LSTB equipped with the right knowledge, and honestly, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, if you do well in LSTB, there aren't like you're one guy in a 50-man guild, and the rewards are based on an entire guild like putting up all those results. So like, you're wasting a bunch of credits for remodding, and it's like it doesn't really.
Yeah.
I do it because it's fun. That's really all. You're not getting anything out of it except for enjoyment, but like. If you're running Shock T Clones right now, Shock T Clones is actually an extremely good team, I still think. You put a little bit of potency on Echo, you get him up to like 70%. You just chuck out those stun bombs like nonstop with the Rex cooldown reduction. It feels, I still love that team.
Yeah.
I don't really run it anymore just because, we've got Shock T doing other business elsewhere. But like,
Cam things.
You don't have to have double Galactic Legend. You don't have to have Jedi Knight Luke to be able to put up results. It is still skill based with most things that you're bringing. I hate Padme and TB though. That's my one exception.
I like. Well, you put you made a video on the playbook about like it was like PVE basics, which I think was really had some really good stuff in it. Like you were talking about where do I have it here? Yeah, so you talk about cooldown management in PVE content, which is huge, and I don't know if a lot of people necessarily are aware of it. And it's not to say like, and the way your videos are worded, it's not like, hey, you moron, this is what you should be doing. It's like you may or may not even know or be even aware that you're doing this or not taking advantage of this. And the way you lay things out in your YouTube videos, it's like in a very succinct way. And you're really good at explaining things. So if you guys haven't checked out Fatal's page, definitely check it out. His YouTube channel's great. I'm gonna post the links here actually, real quick in our Discord here. So yeah, those are all of his links. We're gonna have it in the show notes too if you're just listening to the audio version. And thank you, Byro, for the 500
with the cheer.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. But yeah, so you made this video and like cooldown management is huge, and like I have a lower account for Darkside GOTB, and I've done really well historically for my roster in that, and I think my roster is just as more Darkside oriented for sure. Like getting over 50 waves in that as at a lower GP level, I think is pretty cool, and a big part of that is the cooldown management piece, and I didn't really know of that, before watching your video, but it totally makes sense, and I think a lot of people may not be aware of that mechanic, or the idea behind that anyway.
And like, it's nobody's fault, right? The game does nothing to even like put this on your radar, right? So
right.
I always understand, if someone, you get bad wave entry into like the next wave, your team gets absolutely rolled. It's like, that's going to feel really bad to you, right? And like, I will always understand that. I've been there myself. It always feels terrible. But like any awareness I could try to spread of like, as long as you're like trying to play around this, you do have control over it. You can give your team ridiculous bonuses. Yeah. Absolutely worth keeping in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And your videos are short too. It's not like you're watching an hour and a half dissertation on this is how PvE content works, I think that video specifically is like 5 or 6 minutes if I'm right.
I was trying to focus on keeping videos brief, and then I put in a 3v3 like Darth Revan counter video, and maybe I need to like balance that out a little bit. I cut that one a little bit too short. Getting a lot of people saying like, "Hey, I'd lost with this. Like, what's up?" It's like, okay, maybe we could take a little bit more time. But yeah, I'm trying to keep it like I don't want to get too preachy. It's just like, all right, here's the info. Here's what's up. Go do the thing. Like, chop chop.
Right. Okay, so back to some questions here. So what would you say your favorite squad is overall? It can be for any reason. You know, it doesn't have to be most powerful. Just your favorite that you like playing.
So for me, I think I still have a soft spot for that Thrawn, the tank Thrawn lead counter that I came
Yeah.
up with, just because, like, even now, if I go back and look at that team, it felt like every single turn, every single move, just like once everything lined up correctly, everything just felt like stupidly optimized to completely break that raid team in every way possible. You were never at risk. The turn meter was or the turn order was always the same. It just felt like just a good, clean team build.
Can you talk people through if they're not aware of it, just real quick?
Sure. So I could actually just hijack one of the later questions of like how I built it.
Yeah,
so, the whole idea is, so like back when Rey came out, you know, you had Rey, Resistance Zero Finn, Resistance Zero Poe, and they had the 1-2-3 combo, right? You have the Finn swap, the Poe dispel plus buff immunity, so your tank was usually disabled. Then Finn would chuck a grenade that's just going to blow your face up and probably kill the character that you didn't want to see killed, right? So the whole idea that I had started off from, if you remember back when Jedi Knight Revan and Traya were kind of the new hotness, and like Revan was tearing it up for a while, and then people realized like, oh, you can build Traya like just really tanky, and because the AI was hard coded to go for Traya, they would just auto lose. Like I built like I think one of the cleanest optimized Jedi Knight Revan teams at the time that you could build. Someone sent me a replay. They had just like some rinky dink whatever, like not even fully tank modded. She was fine. She was like half and half, right? They sent me a replay. My team didn't even get a protection off all the way. And this is like, I had my entire team full with like the GK mass assist, full with assist calls, full with like massive training on Grandmaster Yoda. His Traya didn't even lose like any health.
Wow.
And so still had the memory of that and was like, okay, so we knew that Rey's team had the same hard-coded interaction of they would always go for Thrawn, right? So my first thought with like trying to fix that was like, okay, maybe we just build like a tank Thrawn. And my first thought was actually just to go back to Traya lead again, because Traya lead cuts people's offense in half whenever they get buffed. And I think that stacks actually as well. I'm not 100% on that. But I was like, okay, you know, let's just build Thrawn tanky. Let's cut their damage in half. Surely that's going to work out just fine. And no, he still died like immediately. Like that's just how strong the resistance combo was. So like, okay, that sucks. And then I was just like, mostly like when trying to theory craft, it's just like problem solving, and you're just trying to remember like most of the tools in the game.
Mm-hmm.
There was like this really cool, honestly, feeling like hour and a half period where I realized Bastila, her Sith apprentice, unique. I don't remember. I think it's called Sith apprentice. Like it's the same thing that was done with Tank Trio, right? It was Bastila buffing Traya to keep her tanky. That's not faction dependent, so you could just give that to any character in the lead slot. So like, okay, that kind of helped. Like that actually made a huge difference to start. But then I also realized that when Thrawn was in the lead slot, he would gain 20% turn meter if they debuffed him or if he got resisted as well, which is huge for consistency, right? It means no matter what, Thrawn is always getting that 40% on the start. And then from there, I realized, you know, we can just give the Watt tech piece to him. I was thinking Watt regen piece at first, but the tech piece guaranteed that Thrawn was going to go immediately and also get that turn and get 40% protection back immediately. And just, again, it was like this cascade of events, like really small realizations in himself, but once they all stacked up, it was just, I don't know that, like, I can't say that, like, it killed Rey or like Rey double heroes on defense, like, definitively, but just, if you ever saw it, it was just like, boom, immediate 60, complete comfort match.
Yeah, I remember you walking through, I think Zareth on the live stream.
Yep.
You walked him through it. And I remember listening to you, like your confidence with, you do like the exact mechanics. Like obviously you designed you theory crafted it, so you know it inside and out. But I thought that was really impressive. Like a part of me was like, does this Fatal guy know what the fuck he's talking about? And then like, minutes later, Zareth's like, oh, that was easy enough. Okay, perfect. And if I remember right, you were doing it with lesser geared, like gear 12 Traya and like, no
My Traya's
relic.
gear 12.
Yeah, I think. And then I remember you because Zareth's just, I mean, it went great because he had a gear 13, and that didn't necessarily factor into it per se or make or break the comp, but.
Sure.
Yeah, it was interesting, man. It's awesome stuff.
It's super sick. It's still my favorite counter to this day. I just wish I could get to use it more often. Please post double heroes against me.
Right.
I have no motive. Just do it.
Right. So we kind of touched your favorite game mode. Well, I guess if you had to pick one, what's your favorite game mode at this point?
I'm still GAC focused mostly for like competitive. Like I tend to be a competitive person, so that's the easy answer. And then like for PvE, of course, I'd still like LSTB rewards kind of suck, but just like in terms of playing it, LSTB is good. Special shout out, I still think the best puzzle we've had is the General Skywalker Phase 2 events. Was like once you solve that thing, it's actually just like it's like a legitimately good puzzle, and like when you solve it, it's like a really good clean like you dismantle that event. Phase 4.
Don't bring it up. Darkin just did it.
We don't need to say it. Everyone knows. Either you know or you're
Having
gonna
heart palpitations right now. Terrible. And then one of our guildmates just jumped into it recently. He had a little bit of trouble at first, and he was like, "Oh, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be." I was like, "God damn it! I
You shut your mouth.
really suck then." Don't I?
Get back in there until you have a bad time. I demand it.
Yeah, you put in 200 attempts or you're out of here, man.
Yep. How about favorite Star Wars film or TV show, whatever. Star Wars anything.
This is probably going to rub some people the wrong way. I would actually probably almost say Episode 7 if we're just going from the films. Just because the old movies, like I know that everyone will probably say like Empire Strikes Back or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Those movies have aged and like moved on.
Yeah.
I still think like back before the sequels went sideways, 7 felt like some pretty good new fun. Like even going back and watching that, I think those actors had a lot of, or actresses as well, had a lot of good charisma.
Mm-hmm.
I still have some fun with that movie. Like yes, it's a weird rehash. Yes, a lot of the sequels tended to be, but yeah, I think there was some fun to be had there. I still plenty of respect for the originals, of course.
Yeah.
We're not sequel haters here.
No, no, not at all.
Even when we're talking about Last Jedi, it's there's parts of it that are really good, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish that they had I wish they planned things out ahead of time.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, we are not sequel haters. I enjoyed the shit out of them. I think Dark did too as well.
Yeah.
It felt good to have a new Star Wars film out there.
Yep, for sure.
Now, as far as content creation goes, like how did you what sparked you getting into it off the bat?
So
Money.
The money hasn't actually been that good for me, but that's also probably partially my fault. No, it was honestly just I spent a lot of time slumming it in Galaxy Heroes Discords, like wanting to talk about theory crafting and like honestly probably getting to more like heated arguments with people than was really worth it.
No,
this guy is wrong. He's got to know he's wrong.
Someone on the internet getting in an argument about a video game, that doesn't line up to me. I don't know.
It was a lot of that, but unironically, just maybe shouldn't have been doing that as much. But anyway, so at some point it was just like, okay, instead of like spending time telling people like why they were wrong, it's like, okay, what if I just like try to focus efforts on telling people the right information, or like, because I still feel this way to some degree. There's a lot of misinformation and just bad information, not even necessarily saying it's malicious, flying around. So it's like, okay, why not just like try to give people the proper answers instead? You know, the goal of the channel was mostly just like, if I'm saying something, it's something I firmly believe in and have tested and feel good about, you know, not necessarily like maybe counter. It's like, you know, I want it to be, you know, pretty much on lock, like, hey, shoot for these mods, this tourner, you're good. And yeah, it was, I also just feel like it was just a way more productive use of my time because I'm not great at time management. You know, I have ADD that I can't take medication for, so I'm trying to harness my superpowers for usefulness instead of sitting on Discord all day.
No, and that comes through. Like, I think that's what I really enjoy about your channel and other similar content creators, like the Gambit guys. You know, we're good friends with them and love their podcast, and you know, End All Be All. I mean, Klesso. There's all of these like really solid content creators, and what the common theme that I found in a lot of these folks, and yourself included, is you guys are giving people accurate information that you actually believe in and you actually have tested. It's not just, hey, I saw somebody do this and maybe it works, or you paint this picture where oh yeah, this strategy works super well, and you don't misrepresent it and say it's gonna it'd be a one attempt kind of thing. Like you're realistic with it and you test these theories. You're not just espousing information to people. And I think a lot of people for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes that I've seen do that. They're just I've tried multiple events based off of a random YouTuber's suggestion, and it clearly wasn't vetted, clearly wasn't represented well, missing a lot of the information that is required to perform or to do what they're saying you can do. So I think it's awesome. I appreciate it.
I appreciate that.
So now you do consider yourself a theory crafter, and I think we kind of already delved into what one of your favorite compositions that you created. But I guess how do you just you said you kind of start with a problem and then kind of reverse engineer it from there when you come up with these types of theories and things?
Yeah, so there's no easy answer for how to start theory crafting, for example, of just like, you identify the problem, and usually that comes from just like, okay, what's a team's strengths? What are they trying to hit you with at the start? Okay, let's use the 3 thing, right? So we have okay, Darth Revan, he's going to go for the immediate control. Bastila hits you with the debuffs, and then they've got Malak, who I knew going in that I wanted Vader to be Vader felt like a good spot to spend, right? Of DR is kind of a problem team in 3v3. Vader not really on Galactic Legends duty, so that kind of felt like a good thing to aim for. And then other natural reasons like ferocity in 5v5 is of course really easy for Vader to prey on. So we had the issue of we got to deal with DR fear, right? So right off the bat, it's okay, we probably need a pre-taunt there, and then kind of drawing on the old tank Thrawn lead, now that it's all just about memorizing mechanics. And so in this case, I was more familiar with Thrawn lead now. I knew that DR fear would cycle his turn meter, so it was just a question of what happens after that. And so honestly, the biggest theory crafting tool you could pick up, if I'm giving honest advice to people, is try to learn to play the match outside of the game, because for the most part, of course we have increasingly complex kits that's okay, let's say Rex, right? Rex has 20% speed, then he's giving people turn meter gain, then there might be other speed sources elsewhere. That's a headache. But for the most part, if you know their speed order, which is why when people ask me for advice, usually my first question is just what's their speed? And they'll say Darth Revan 330, Bastila 315, whatever. And exactly how that battle is going to play out without them having to go in, right? So you say okay, Darth Revan going first, he's going to waste his fear on the pre-taunts. We know Thrawn is going to get turn meter and skip. The main way that theory crafts came together, it was just knowing that, or realizing that Thrawn lead's ability kind of solves Bastila perfectly, because there's RNG there, but either RNG solutions were fine, right? So Bastila, there's a 50-50. She's going to drop a whole bunch of debuffs on you, and there's 50-50 on does it go on Vader or Thrawn. And the main reason why I felt confident in putting out this video, which, by the way, if this wasn't true, I probably wouldn't have made it, even if it was 50-75% win rate. You need to know that if Thrawn gets feared, you're fine. If Vader gets feared, you're fine. And conveniently enough, the turn order was the same. You just pop the lead ability and then go. But yeah, if you're trying to theory craft, you need to make sure do I get to my win condition cleanly, or at least as clean as possible? There are a lot of counter videos in the community that are perfectly well working counters, but if you know how certain debuffs in this game work that are resistible, I don't know, let's say there was some old counter that had Malak against Supreme Leader Kylo, and you had to land a shock on a tank, and if you don't land that shock, auto fail immediately. So that means that with that counter, that shock that Malak does, no matter, you can bring all the potency in the world, you get the best potency mods in the world, you're only ever looking at an 85% chance of landing that. And so you're walking into a counter with 50% chance of just auto loss. And if you're trying to take GAC seriously, that's a lot of stress that you maybe don't want to have to deal with, right? But yeah, so it I guess to go back to the actual question, if you're theory crafting, just try to keep in mind how the mechanics work. try to be able to play out the fight in your head, which can be a complete headache sometimes, and it's still, there's some fights where I'm just like, this is above my pay grade.
Right.
But play that on your head. And like, even like if you're in territory wars, right? Like, this doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be doing this 24/7, but like, you will fail less in territory wars if you can pick up this skill of just like, check their mods. It's like, okay, they outspeed me here. Does that matter? Not really. Okay, we can probably still go into here, right? Because like, the AI for the most part is predictable in PvP. You know what move they're going to do first. You know what order they're going to be going in, and you can kind of read how that fight is going to play out before having to go in. And that's really what Theory Craft Encounters is about, is just trying to, sometimes you just ask people to switch teams in arena, and just sometimes you got to play it out firsthand. But for the most part, you're trying to like find teams that find that solution, solve that problem without just exploding in the process.
That's a really good point. Like, that's a common theme that I see with a lot of strong GAC players and theory crafters, is that when I see them on live streams or talking on, a podcast or whatever, they can play out these fights well in advance. Like, they know exactly, or have a pretty good idea of what the fight's going to look like. I don't know about you, Dark. When I'm bumbling into the fight. I'm like, I hope this happens. Like, I think I'm gonna go for like, and like.
I know all the interactions that happen before they happen. You don't think about that before you go into a fight. I'm just like, blah.
Well, the thing that I think that makes it even more confusing or less easier to understand for a wide variety of players is that not only do you have a character's speed to worry about, but you also have these unique abilities that impact speed. You have turn meter, where speed and turn meter have an interaction that I don't think I admittedly don't fully understand. So there's a lot of variables. Like, you may think, oh yeah, I outspeed this Rex team, and then you're not looking at the full kit to really fully understand. Oh, they get this bonus speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I mean, honestly, to loop back to the last question, that's kind of why I started content creating, is because at first I was like the guy who was on Discord, like, always willing to give that information, but also just like, how do you not know this? Like, you should know this. And it's
Right.
like, that's not realistic, right? So if I can make a channel where like people can hopefully depend on like, hey, this is something you need to know, is like, I'll be the guy who tries to like memorize all of that stuff, and if I can just pass that along, then so be it. That seems to be just fine, because it's not realistic to expect everyone like, oh yeah, just memorize the entire game and be able to do all of this. Like, yeah.
I think that's a huge aid in being a strong player in this game, is just knowing the kits inside and out. Like, that alone, if more people, my memory sucks, like your memory is probably, it seems more to hold on to information. Mine's like it's like a colander, if you were to just fill it with water, like I temporarily hold it and then it just seeps out eventually, and I'm back at square one. But
My
There's
brain
so
is
much stuff to
broken
remember in
from
this
too much
game.
drinking. There's no way I can remember any of that stuff. No way.
that's why we have people like Fatal and the Gambit guys and etc. So, all right. So now one thing I did want to ask you about is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Like, you play a lot of different games. I saw that on your Twitch channel, in your profile. Like, you describe, like, I mean, you've been a like top of the food chain, like higher echelon player in a lot of different video games, like, or just games in general. So like, what is it about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes that has held your attention and really garnered the type of investment in time and energy you've put into it?
It's on paper, I should hate this game, which I am not a patient person at all. So the idea of like, oh yeah, just wait 3 to 6 months of like repeatedly doing this task every day to get ready is like, if someone just approached me out of the blue, just like, oh man, you got to check out this game, like, I would be like, what? No, like, get on my face. But it's incredibly satisfying, and I think the thing I always really come back to is the kit design in this game. Even the new kit design, I kind of prefer the direction CG is going now. I know that people don't really like the wall of text kit walls, but yeah, I just really enjoyed the design space. And then, as weird as it sounds, me not being a patient person, I do kind of enjoy or appreciate the satisfaction of working on something for a long time, eventually getting there, and I guess I still qualify as a lean account. I guess like having 3GL at 5 million or 5.5 million GP is like still lean-ish, and
Yeah, I think
so
so.
I get a lot of satisfaction out of just being like catering this account, trying to keep it as competitive as possible, dodge all of the fluff where I can, and Grand Arena gives you a chance to, you're putting all your choices on the table and saying like, okay, here is my strategy. How do we compare? And like,
Yeah.
most of the time, I'm probably ahead.
It's fascinating because you play first person shooters. Why don't you give people a rundown of games that you've played to higher levels, if you don't mind,
Oh god.
or just a handful, whatever.
Sure. I was like, so when Apex Legends first came out, I was rated like top 10 for Pathfinder mains on the leaderboard. Call of Duty, I had like top 250 on the leaderboard as well. Which, like, okay, I want to say those leaderboards I don't really place that much stock in, because honestly, with leaderboards like that, it's almost just a question of like, yo, how much are you playing this game?
Right.
I was like right there next to like streamers like Moonmoo, who were just like streaming 7-8 hours of the game a day, and so at first I kind of cared about it until I was just like, like, does this really matter, right? I was like a top 250 Widowmaker main in Overwatch, but this was like, again, when the game first came out, back before like there was competitive modes or anything really. Master rank in Legends of Runeterra, a really good card game made by Riot Games. Diamond in League of Legends, also made by Riot Games, but you probably heard of it before now. Diamond in StarCraft 2, Diamond in Rocket League.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like most games that I touch on, if it's a game that I really enjoy, then I kind of want to just like try to. I mean, it's the same with Galaxy of Heroes, right? I want to try to learn it and play it to the best degree that I can. I'm kind of like an everything or nothing type of person.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't really like to half-ass things,
Mm-hmm.
and especially like, I'm a fairly competitive person, so if I'm gonna have fun with the game, I want to be winning more often than not. And if I'm gonna win, I need to learn what the heck I'm doing. So I don't know. I used to play a lot of sports like basketball, soccer, a little bit of golf, a little bit of track, and kind of wasn't able to do that anymore due to a condition. So this was just kind of my outlet now, and yeah, it's fun to compete still.
It's interesting, and especially it's one of the things that I found more fascinating about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is that, all those games, or most of the games that you mentioned, there is an element of direct PvP. It's like I'm doing something and you're reacting to it, or vice versa. With Galaxy of Heroes, it is that, but it's not live. It's like I'm gonna do something, and then in 24 hours you're gonna see what presents I set for you. Or even PvP in territory wars, or even when you are actually fighting somebody in GAC, you're fighting the computer. You're not actually fighting a person. You might be fighting their strategy per se, that they've put in place, but they're not. I just found that fascinating, that a lot of people are attracted to this game and create content for this game and put out these guides and things like that, and really put in a ton of effort into it, but there's no live PvP mechanic like most games out there these days.
It's funny because I know that there's a group of people who like is just like banging their desks trying to say like, add live PvP to Galaxy of Heroes. Like, we need to have it. The Disney game or whatever did it.
Right.
I'm over here as a person who will almost always prefer playing another person, and I'm telling you that is a terrible mistake. You do not want live PvP in this game. I know why it sounds attractive at first, but if you think about this game, if you think about how this game has been designed, this entire game is designed around the AI being an idiot. If
Right.
the AI was good in this game, which is also something I've heard people talking about, you will have the worst time of your life. Can you imagine playing against like a Commander Luke lead team,
Right.
juggling your team for like an hour or a minute and a half straight, and you're just like, all right, I'll be here. Let me know when you're done. Like,
Right. Exactly. Yep.
That's kind of why the power creep works, right? Is they can give characters these crazy tools on paper, like extremely powerful, and the AI isn't going to quite use them correctly, and that's why it kind of works out that some counters will work that otherwise maybe shouldn't. Some counters, get in a little bit more value than they could, is because the player tends to always be king. And that's why the competition in this game tends to be more on the modding layer, which is why I tend to, like, one of my earliest big series was on farming mods, is because whether you're trying to make sick defense teams, whether you're trying to make sick counters, whether you're trying to make cheap counters, you got to have the mods to put them. And then the other half of that competition is like the placement strategy, right? Of like, am I trying to like put bait teams up front to grab your stuff and then have some strong stuff rear?
Right.
Am I just going for like a muscle strategy, or am I going for like just full-blown nuclear, like you're not going to clear me, I'm going full-blown defending ships, and good luck.
Right. That's funny. And that's oftentimes I think what people refer to, you know, like when the AI does actually do something intelligent.
I get so mad.
They're like,
get so, like, how dare you?
Right. They're like, oh, RNG fucking got me, man. It's like, well, if a real player was playing you, they would beat your ass red. So I mean, I don't know what you're so upset about. You know, these people that blame RNG all the time. It's like, oh, the computer accidentally did something intelligent. Okay, yeah, poor RNG. I don't know. But yeah, people in chat, Prime Force mentioned Runeterra. That you made a few videos for that on the Playbook, right? Or at least, or a live stream at least.
So I coincidentally a few months ago, I think it was the last 3v3 season, or like 2 or 3v3 seasons ago, I just missed the join of the last 3v3 week. I like stayed up all night to make a video and then just passed out on my desk and missed the GAC lock because I always like do a remod first. It's just dumb life choices. Anyway, so you know, it was the last week of that 3v3, and then we had the off season, so I just had like 2 weeks free, and I was just like, Legends of Runeterra is a pretty good game. I'm down to just, you know, keep poking away at this game because it's just kind of a big downtime for the game, and was able to get like top 2000 in NA in that time, mostly, you know, trying to like learn from really, really high level streamers. And yeah, there's now a regional tournament going on now, which I have 3 days to get top 700 in the game. I'm like extremely rusty and coming in hot. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, worst case scenario, I'll still get Masters by the end of the season. That'll be fun. But, you know, we're coming up on a off week for GAC, and we're in Darkside territory battles and then TB. So these moments kind of tend to be quiet for the game. So I figured, why not just hop on in? I should be streaming more anyway, so why not?
Awesome, man. That's cool. Is that a mobile game as well?
Mobile and PC.
Oh, okay. Okay, nice.
It's kind of like Hearthstone, if you know that, kind of like Magic the Gathering. They tried to like split the difference. It's a really good game, I think, and it's also, unlike our main game, it's really free to play friendly. Like stupidly, nice. If you've ever played any other digital card game where you're just used to like buying packs over time, this game will just drown you within like you start playing 1 to 2 weeks, you're drowned in cards already, and then it doesn't stop. Like they're gonna have an expansion pack in like 1 to 2 weeks, and I already have enough banked up that I'll just get everything for free.
Nice. Okay, that's cool. Awesome. Good to know. If you're looking for another game, maybe check that one out. Okay, last question. Do you have any sage advice for new players / do you see any common pitfalls for the community or misunderstood game mechanics that you want to let people know about?
I think we already touched on a few of the core ones of just like, you know, cooldown management. You know, I think a lot of players tend to, I mean, no offense when saying this, but you kind of play almost the same as if you were just like turning the game on auto, of just like you hit the big special button, right, and then the next turn comes up, you hit the next special button.
This is available.
Feel personally attacked right now.
But just like, you know, second guess of like, do I really need to use this right now? Is this necessary?
Right.
Again, part of that just comes from like memorizing the kits, and like I don't know that that's necessarily realistic for people to know. But you know, if you know the kits well enough, maybe sometimes, you know, a basic would have been fine instead of using JK or full mark, that sort of thing.
Right.
This isn't like a paid ad thing, but if you're interested in modding, my hot tip would be to check out Hot Utils Bot if you can. Like, if you spend a lot of time on remodding, I do it a lot on my channel, of course, with LSTB and all that. I commit absolute crimes, modding crimes on my roster, you know, 2 days before we're going back into like GAC and territory battles. The Hot Utils Bot is paid to be able to do the remodding thing, but if you don't want to spend all of that time fixing your crimes against humanity, you can just like make a loadout. It's a feature that I honestly hope we'll get in the game someday. but it just takes a snapshot of like, okay, let's say you join Grand Arena and you're like, okay, my mods are pretty sick right now. Why not? You take a snapshot of that. You can do anything you want, credits pending, right? But like anything you want, you can absolutely wreck that, right? And then you press a button, everything's just back to normal.
Oh,
as long as
nice.
as long as you have the mod space, which is also its other issue.
Right. Why the fuck is there a mod cap?
It's so stupid. I'm so tired of that.
Oh boy. Well, I know.
my-
Well, I don't. I guess I don't know why. I guess they're just lazy. I don't know.
I think it's just like a storage capacity issue and scalability with like how many people play this game.
Right.
I'll
Like
pay him $50 to never have a mod like cap.
Easy, Dark. You don't want to give anybody ideas.
Sure.
Come on, man.
But honestly, if that's what it took, like I would be. I mean, there are gacha games that'll just like you have to pay to expand your collection or whatever.
Right.
I think the thing. So if I could do a little bit of shameless self promotion,
No, dude. That's
That's why you're
for.
here.
Hell yeah.
I do have a modding series that I think has gotten most of the important information across on mods, and specifically, the message I want to send is more mod space, assuming it's not infinite. If it's infinite, then whatever. Everything I'm saying is irrelevant. But more mod space, if you have bad mod practices and you're just hanging on to trash mods, they could give you 200 more extra mod slots, and 2.5 months down the line, we're going to be in the exact same spot. You're going to be capped out again. It's going to feel like a hassle to move mods again. Doesn't necessarily have to be my mod guide, although I think, especially now with now that we have like 6D through A, and we kind of can assume how future mod systems are going to work as well. I think my mod guide got kind of lucky that CG decided to go this route, but my mod guide like kind of in advance got ahead of the curve on like what good mods are going to be in the future. But more importantly, is going to teach you hopefully better mod management without spending a crazy amount of time on them, because nobody wants to do that. Right? Like but just if you're running into a lot of issues with you're always full on mods, which I certainly still am and can always run into, but yeah, just a good way to manage your mods quickly, a good way to know what mods to sell. That is a huge issue for people. Probably one of the biggest issues is like because like every mod on paper has potential, right? You're like, oh, this mod could be the one. How am I supposed to know? And the simple answer is you're never gonna. You're never gonna unless you whip out that Visa Bucks MasterCard extraordinaire. You can find out real quick, let me tell you. But if you're not going that route, you've got to play the favorites. You got to realize that or recognize that some mods just suck more than others. And you take a little bit of time to just sort your roster once, where you said okay, we're going to take the best half that we have and we're going to sell the bottom half. And there's just boom, bottom of the half of the roster gone. You go set by set or whatever, set by set and slot by slot is the easiest way, in my opinion. You start to lock in the ones that you think are worth the time to slice eventually. And then boom, that's half of your collection opened up immediately. That's probably going to fill back over time. You just repeat that process again. But now that you have those mods locked, it also means that any new mods you come in, I wish I could have a screen share right now. My sell screen, when I go into my mods right now, is completely empty.
Right. Yep.
If I get a new mod, I can just go into my sell screen and say
nice.
okay, what's on the menu for today? What are we looking at?
Yeah. I just learned how to what locking mods is and does a few months ago because I'm an idiot and my life is so
It's
much
not your
easier.
fault. It's not your fault. It's really clunky. The lock button should be a mark as junk button.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that would make it easier.
It would make it so much easier. You work on a mod a little bit. It's oh, this is trash. Mark as trash. Sell all trash. It would be so much easier. But for now, with the system we have, CG added a sell button into the game, and I still think it's trash. I would prefer to lock mods and then just go into the sell screen and just select them all, right? Because
Yep, it's annoying, man. It is a pain in the ass, and then especially for the the average player, there's a whole lot of knowledge and I guess things that you can't really take a lot of research to understand.
Totally.
I mean, unless you're just going to a high-end GAC player's roster and modding similarly to them, hands raised here. That's what I do, because I just quite frankly don't know. Do I go with a health protection here or a health primary or a protection primary here? Does it even matter really? and then I'll compare to other people. And like, well, they have a health one. And they have a. Does it really fucking matter? What am I? You know, it's just like it's a whole thing. And then like there's certain characters that don't benefit from having certain primaries on them. Like, isn't it B1? Or who can't crit? And so it's completely pointless to have.
B1 can't crit. You're right.
Okay, yeah.
B1's
So
pretty good.
that's a common error that people make. They put on a crit damage or primary or something like that, and I don't know. They're very confusing, and I'm definitely going to check out your mod guides because I need all the help I can get with mods.
I think the end goal of the game is to try to make it not feel like a hassle, because I think once you have good mods to play with and you're not spending that much time on them, I think modding can actually be really fun. But the game doesn't do anything to help you in that respect, and I know we haven't had like a quality of life patch, and I don't even want to find the correct number because it's probably going to make me really sad. But I think that could be one of the places where, like, if you're not like putting the right mods in the right place, you're already at such a disadvantage in this game. But then the barrier to entry on doing it's a lot of time. It's really difficult to approach at first and know like what the right choice or the wrong choice is. And then it's also really hard to find like the right information on that. I really hope that we can get better systems for that in the future. Right, like I know CG tried to do like an auto recommends. Auto recommends, maybe.
They tried. It was cute. Yeah, thanks, guys.
We'll give them a slow count.
Right, right.
You know what? With Carrie saying that like half of the player base wasn't even equipping mods, and literally anything was probably a step up. So.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I have mods on my characters now. Look at me up.
Dude, back with the old GAC matchmaking, I actually experienced this firsthand because my account was so lean that I would just play against a lot of random players back when I was like 2 mil or whatever. She was 100% right. A lot of people heard that and they're like, no way.
It's crazy.
I'll get in as like a Jedi Knight Revan with like just base stats and just like, huh.
That's hilarious.
Yikes. Okay, maybe. But that's not like, I think that's completely indicative of the problem though, right? Is
right. Yep.
It's way more hassle than it's worth. You have to go character by character. There's no easy tools. There's no easy ways. Like, yeah. I think it's a complete shame.
Awesome. Well, thank you for letting me pick your brain and grill you on
sure
interview questions. So let's hop into the news. There's not a whole lot of news in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We had the 5th anniversary. So
yeah.
What'd you guys think of the 5th anniversary goodies and such?
I wasn't mad at him. I mean, it probably wasn't as good as the previous years overall, but I think like I could definitely use all the things they gave us. You know, that full Carbanti, that was nice. Full droid collar, full stun gun, love that. I mean, I always need all the relic mats I can get. So I thought it was good enough. No complaints.
They cut the credits given from 1 million to 500,000, and I'm probably the one person in the game who was actively kind of sad about that because I throw my credits into a blender nonstop.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, we got a free extra slice on a new 6D or whatever.
Yep.
I got a speed hit from that. I can't be mad.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for the full stun gun, double drop. I like the double drops a lot. Like I like true double drops. Like when they did the stay and play kind of promotion, it was like they were doing selective double drops. I don't like that. That's just a pain in the ass to try and remember. And then like now, I mean, in game there's a little icon next to whatever is a double drop, which is nice. But like true double drops are just, oh man, I love them. And especially now with the shard economy change, where you're getting,
it was way better than. I had to kind of stop on some of the ones that I'm only getting 1 shard per attempt on and push them all towards the other ones just to like maximize, like I still hit Mon Mothma and Chupio twice, but like I'm not going to like refresh again because I want to get like, I'll get like 40 shards of Nasty Basti. I mean, it's fucking awesome.
Right.
I was kind of shocked that they gave the double, like those economy changes at the same time as double drops. It would have been so easy for them to just push that back a week.
Yeah, 100%. And Fort said in chat, at 8 energy cantina tune, like bringing them to 7-star was so easy. I'm doing that on my alt account. Like I have an alt account, 1.7 million now. and I'm farming Old Ben right now. He's 8 Cantina. And I think one day I got like 40 shards in a day. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is insane. Like, I didn't even have him
sounds like cheating.
It really does. I didn't even have him unlocked. And then I'm like, all of a sudden now I'm like, he's 5-star. I'm like, what? What is happening right now? This is crazy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I loved it, man. I thought it was awesome. I'm
I did
always down with some free shit for sure.
One mistake that I made is I didn't load up energy before like the switchover. Like I usually try to do that on double drop days, is like load up the energy that they can like carry over, but it's whatever. It was 3
4
days.
days of
What are you
it.
gonna do?
Yeah. I did pick up the crystal deal they had, $20 for I don't know. I forget how many crystals. It was like
You got like 25% more, I think.
Yeah, I did that. But one thing, just as a quick aside, for anybody who spends in this game, all I want to say is I was staggered when I actually went through. I'm not going to say amounts because I'm going to cry if I do. Actually, looking at my history recently, I was floored when I looked at the actual amounts. I'm like, adding it all up, I'm like, oh my god! Like I thought it was a third of what it actually was. So anybody who spends, maybe just friendly PSA. Maybe you're aware. Maybe you're more aware than I was. Just add that shit up. It's sneaky.
You thought you spent $3 and you spent $10.
Right. Right. That's a good figure. We'll go with those figures. I like those figures. Those are good ones. But yeah, I was stunned. Like, hands down, nowhere near comparison to any other game I've ever played. Like, which is crazy to consider that it's a Star Wars mobile game. But
See, I was thinking of it too, is like how much time do we spend on this game with everything that we do around the game? Like, it's entertainment for so many things. So like, it helps us like with the podcast, there's so many things involved. We're on all the time. We play 2 accounts, both of us. It's like, whatever,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's just sneaky. I mean, I feel like, I don't know, financially, if you're not in a great spot, like you don't have like a ton of disposable income, it's a very easy trap to just be like, oh yeah, I'm spending way more money than I like ever.
I'm a public school teacher. I make a lot of money.
Yeah, I have 2 kids and a mortgage, so things aren't great as far as that goes. I'm not just balling out of control. Like it's crazy. Like I don't know. All I'm saying is it snuck up on me. Is all I'm saying.
Once the firstborn becomes a pro fisherman, you can just be raking in the money from that.
Oh yeah, that's my long-term. He's gonna be. You know what? He could be a YouTube fishing kid. There we go. We got it.
There you go.
We're gonna get those views, get those clicks, get some clickbaity.
He mostly just throws worms into the lake.
He sure does. That'll be the. We're gonna count
awesome.
worms today. Yeah.
So the first words he's just gonna have first clickbait face.
We're gonna
Gotta start him young.
We're not gonna have pictures on the wall like of memories. It's gonna be YouTube plaques.
Oh god.
This is when you got 1 million clicks on. That's pretty cool.
I got this grade on my math test.
Sad world, man. But yeah. Anyway, okay. So yeah, we got the anniversary shit. I don't think we need to touch on it much more than that, unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about.
I was happy with it. I had fun with double drops. That's all.
All right, and we can do a quick drive-by GAC 3v3 wrap-up. What do you guys think? Just a quick and move on to other things. What do you think?
Cool. Go ahead.
I got Kyber. That's about all I can say. I went a little bit too hard. So I used to go full nuclear on 3v3 defense just because I thought it was funny. And then I tried to be like, okay, let's try to like one-shot everything, but still go a little bit hard on defense. And most of my GEC matchups, I'm down like 1.5 million GP or whatever. And in 5v5, I'm confident in my gameplay. It's not going to matter. I willfully avoid learning anything about 3v3 just because I don't like the mode and I don't want to spend time on it. Right. And yeah, so if I screwed up like one battle, it was almost like an auto loss of just like the worst cascade of like, oh god, I now need to spend this extra team.
Yes.
Screwed over here. And then these people would like I had one guy put up like 7 or 8 fails on me, and he still got the full clear. Like,
oh jeez, that really
like
speaks to the roster difference.
Totally, that was the first time that I ever felt like the GP difference actually mattered, because I was just like one battle screwed up. I was just like, whew, like
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know if I can do it. They're just like taking it on the chin, just like boom, this team gone, boom, this team gone, boom, this team gone. And like, okay, the top half of my zones were trash, so like it's not going to take them that much to clear. But like the fact that they even had teams to field to be able to beat them was like honestly a pretty huge disadvantage to me. So I learned a lot this season. It was rough. I still got the Kyber, but like nothing to write home about.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I went 7-5. This is one of my worst seasons. I think it's over a year I haven't done this poorly. And no judgment to anybody, no judgment to you, Darkit. I'm not trying to single you out or anything like that. You know, you suck at GAC. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like really, like I have expectations for myself. You know, the last two 5v5 seasons, I went 11-1, 11-1. So like, you know, going into this season, I was feeling pretty good about things and ended up with 7-5. I still made Kyber somehow, which I was thankful for and surprised, to be completely honest. But and just to echo your sentiment, Fatal, I mean, pretty much, you know, I learned things. There's always one of the positive things about 3v3 is that I learn new things about my characters, my kits, my roster, and that's valuable. That's gonna help me in 5v5 when we get back to the actual game mode that I enjoy the most versus
The
3v3.
actual game.
Right, exactly. Yeah, not this, you know, fantastical version of it or
Bastardized version.
Yeah, bastardized version is the accurate term. But learned a lot, and but just like you said, Fatal, like, you know, it was so easy to go on tilt because in 5v5 I historically put up pretty strong defenses, and I tried to kind of carry that similar mindset into 3v3, and it just didn't translate whatsoever. You know, it was so easy to go on tilt. One failed battle, you know, one thing didn't go my way. Okay, shit, I don't have a counter for Night Sisters now, or I don't have a counter for Jedi Knight Revan. Like, and they're not even like strong teams, but yeah, anyway. Darkit, how'd you go, man?
Terrible.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Okay. I get it, man. It sucks. It's rough.
At the end, I was just like, what can I solo some of these teams with just to fuck around? Like that's what I was doing in the last like 2 or 3 matchups. It didn't even matter anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Kyber was so out of reach, it was like, whatever.
Yeah.
Can my gas solo this team? Can my Jedi Knight Luke solo this team? So.
Just having fun at that point,
Yeah.
yeah. We're trying to. Fort in chat said, props to his last opponent. I planned perfectly, but he kept coming. 12 defends. He already made Kyber, but kept coming at me. Yeah, I like that. That's how, I don't know. I love the competitive element of GAC more than anything. Like, you know, the gamemanship of it, the sportsmanship. Like, it's my favorite. Promethean Death went 11-1. Made Kyber. Nice. 3v3 GLs to someone who has none is trash. Oof. Yeah, that is. Wow. Top 65, right? Isn't that what they for matchmaking? Is that the? Do we know? I feel like everybody's just guessing. Like,
Everybody
it's top
guesses.
55, top 65. I don't know.
Somewhere around 60, 65.
I think it's 65 for 5v5 and 80 for 3v3. I don't know if that's true.
Jeez, what can they
That
make this
sounds
easier
right.
to understand so everybody knows? Like,
Nothing in Galaxy Heroes is made easier.
that's true. That's true. Prime Force said took down 3 opponents with GLs without one of my own. Damn. Wow. That is crazy, man. That's best match was one where I went through his SLKR. Nice.
Saboteur says the opposite. Okay, I was close. I was in the ballpark.
Okay. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay. I guess that would make sense. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but whatever. It's over. The nightmare is over, guys. Back into 5v5 with some real GAC coming up.
Finally.
Okay. So that was the hard meat. Now we're gonna move into talking about the Mandalorian, the most recent episode of the Mandalorian. We are going full spoilers here, so if you haven't watched the Mandalorian, definitely shut this off and definitely don't listen to this and definitely don't complain to us that we spoiled anything for you, because spoiler.
I doubt that anybody who's listening at this point would not have watched The Mandalorian.
That's a good point. You know, some people
But-
though, but you know what? Spoilers. I guess I'm extra sensitive to spoilers because literally the day that the Mandalorian, the new episode came out, somebody on YouTube made a clip and they showed, of course, Rosario Dawson as
Yeah.
Ahsoka Tano. It just
Yeah.
in the open, like the clip for the pick for the video. That
Right.
alone, it's like, yeah, I knew that it was coming.
We knew she was coming in.
But like, you just forced my hand in and guaranteed that she's going to be in the episode. You took away that mystery. Even that to me is like, really, it's been less than 24 fucking hours. Like, I know it's an instant. You know, this society we live in now is all instantaneous.
Yeah, it's the nature of the beast. You know, you gotta watch it immediately.
It's been
And that's
18
the only
hours. You
reason-
haven't watched The Mandalorian yet? Like, no, dude, I have a fucking job. Like, I can't just drop everything and watch The Mandalorian so a YouTube video won't spoil it for me, a fucking profile picture. Anyway.
That's why my 4:30 alarm goes off on Friday morning so I can watch it before.
Well-
Well, for sure, for me, it's like I'm gonna be teaching high schoolers. Like,
Oh, yeah, you
very
don't want to
very
go.
few of them are gonna get up early to watch it. But if they
Yeah.
do, you know they're gonna fuck with me. So
Or they watch it in first hour, you know, like.
they'll just go to the end. They're not gonna watch the whole thing. Just go to the end. Like, did you see the end of that episode when blah 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 blah? Yeah.
Right.
Thanks, asshole.
All right.
Um,
Take a quick break and reconvene
yeah, I need to go
here.
to the bathroom because I've had 3 beers and
Okay. Well, I'll hit the Star Wars in general music, and I'll just hang out. If either of you guys, I'm good right now. So I don't know.
All right.
I'm done.
One of the nice things about whiskey, by the way, is the
You guys, you can talk and I'll just I'll come back.
playing our Star Wars in general music at this point, which is a play on words on the Midwest punk band MXPX. Like it.
Oh yeah.
All right, I shut it off because I don't want to get pulled from YouTube for copyright infringement. That is one of the nice things, as a just a pro tip to all you amateur or professional alcoholics out there. Whiskey is a nice drink. I'm normally a beer drinker, or I drink various mixed drinks. The nice thing about whiskey is, honestly, it's a perfect Thanksgiving companion, like Thanksgiving dinner companion, because you're eating a lot of food. An issue I always run into is I eat a ton of food, and then it's like, oh man, I still have to chug a bunch of beer because I don't want to spend this Thanksgiving around my family members and loved ones sober because I can't tolerate it. So the whiskey is nice because you don't have to drink that much of it, you know, and it's not filling up your stomach cavity as much as like beer or like chugging like something else. So little pro tip there. And you don't have to pee as much, which is nice.
Also true.
Yeah. So good for streaming. And in Fort Mort, I killed a 5th of Elijah Craig whiskey based on your recommendation. That shit is delicious. That is the apple juice that Fort Mort always drinks. He always comments on in his Twitch channel. That stuff is really good, man. That is a solid whiskey there. I bought one because when my son was born, I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna splurge here, and
Sure.
It lasts me a good 2 weeks or so. Lots of whiskey on those rough nights, but it was good stuff, man. You missed
Good
a lot.
replacement for sleep.
Yes. Coffee, whiskey, same thing, man. You know, they just wake you right up. Wow, I sound like an alcoholic. I don't drink in the morning. Full clarification there. All right, so we're talking about Mando. Let's talk about some Mando.
Mando time.
All right, Dark. You've said about 3 words this entire podcast, so I'm gonna let you kind of lead the conversation on this one. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Feel free to jump in at any time, Fatal, and I
Sure.
will. I'm sure, because that's what I do.
I was so surprised that this episode came off so quickly. Like it just like started and like it didn't really stop. I thought when this episode title came out that we were gonna basically see Ahsoka Tano last scene. You know, we're gonna get a glimpse of her, and then that's gonna be like, you know, episode 6 is gonna be mainly focused on like their interactions. And I was pleasantly surprised as soon as it came on. She's got her dual white lightsabers out, and she is like fighting these whatever they are. I don't even know what these hostiles were who were taking her on. But you guys know?
Corvus?
I couldn't. On Corvus, yeah.
It's just like guards for local magistrate, I think. I don't know.
Yes.
They don't really tell you.
No, yeah, there's no real reason here. But as soon as it started, I was like, holy shit, this is happening like all of a sudden, you know, like I was super excited. She is trying to eventually get into this gate of Kaladin on the planet of Corvus. And trying to get to the magistrate, who you can tell she's got like a lot of history with. There definitely have been like fighting this back and forth for a long time. They really know her, and like the scene is pretty cool too. Like the background, the setting. You have this like kind of like scorched forest.
Yeah.
Even like it's still smoldering. Like there's smoke all over the place. She's got her goons all over the place. I just thought the first scene was really cool. It was very action packed. So. Sure, you
guys tell her as like a horror character or something.
Yeah. She's just like this silent assassin moving through the fog, and you know people don't know where she's at. And I thought it was really cool to see a Jedi in action in the Mando series for the first time.
I did wonder though too, is like when I'm watching this, like I am very excited about this, but for somebody who has never seen Ahsoka Tano before, like if you have not been watching Clone Wars or Rebels or any of that kind of stuff, like are you totally lost right now? I didn't think of that initially because I was like, fuck it, like this is awesome for me and for anybody who's like watched those things, but like there is no process to get you invested in this character. Just like all of a sudden she's there, you know?
I know her from Galaxy of Heroes enough that it's like I know how much she matters to other people, so I know that this is like supposed to be a big moment. But yeah, like for me, I didn't grow up with the Clone Wars. I grew up with the old Clone Wars, the Samurai Jack, you know, Cartoon Network Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, it was basically just knowing the context for other people and just like knowing that like this is some big aha moment that was like, okay, this is cool. And like, again, exactly what you said, and kind of the expectation with Mandalorian that it kind of takes its time. Usually they hit you with that white lightsaber immediately. They're just saying like, all right, we're not messing around this episode. Let's get into it for once.
Yeah.
It worked for me, even, you know, not, you know, having, you know, so much appreciation necessarily, but yeah, I think from everything I could see, it seems pretty well done overall.
Yeah. And so Ahsoka Tano's trying to get information from the magistrate, whose name is Morgan Elsbeth. She has some kind of information of like a higher up that she wants to know more about, but we don't know who that is at this point in the episode. The magistrate Morgan is kind of threatening Ahsoka Tano with the lives of the people who live in this town. She's probably seen, like, she's been in the city, may have been there first and was cast out once the magistrate kind of took over. We don't really know that background yet, but she's trying to kind of scare her that like she's going to hurt or kill more of these like civilians if this fighting continues. So trying to strike out some kind of like situation bargain, but it's not going to really work where they're at right now. Next scene, they're going to go into the Razor Crest. The Mando is flying the crest, trying to get into Corvus. The child is kind of up near the pilot seat, I guess, and he gets him back to where he kind of belongs. The child is trying
doing
to go
typical child things,
going after the ball.
I want that ball.
He loves the ball. And
like
using his force
things.
powers to unscrew that ball. So yeah, he's all about the spherical shaped things.
Eggs, balls.
Yep. I really don't know why the ball can't just be Baby Yoda's all the time. Like, does it really need to be on that stick? Like, you can still operate the crest without having the ball on top of the thing, right?
Mando's an inexperienced dad. As a dad of two, you just
give him the fucking ball.
You give them whatever the fuck stupid thing they want to play with. Oh, you want to play with an empty Amazon box? Perfect.
Yeah.
Here you go. Yeah,
that's
knock
great
yourself
for
out.
me.
You sit in that thing, piss on it. I don't care. Just leave me alone for a minute while I can cook dinner.
It's good enough for cats. Why can't it be for them?
Yep. I don't know if much really happened in that scene. Like they're getting to Corvus. Like the people in the town see him kind of coming in. He lands. He eventually comes through the city gate. He's got the child on his side there, and then this I don't know what you want to call him. He's like a deputy to the magistrate. His name is Lang.
Yeah.
he kind of recognizes him as being a Mandalorian and offers him a safe entry into the city. He kind of connects with it. He's got a connection with the guild. So once they walk through the city, he's kind of like eyeing some of the civilians. He sees some of the robots, the droids that are there, who are pretty well armed, that he's gonna have to deal with at some point later. I don't know, just kind of walking through the city.
Yeah.
Anything stand out there? This part of the episode's kind of slow, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of learn that it's, it seems like a dictatorship's going on. Everybody's pretty sheltered. They don't want to talk to anybody. They're kind of in fear for their lives.
Yeah. I feel like they could have like built this up a little bit more. Like, you can tell that civilians are like scared. And he talks to this one guy, like kind of real briefly, who was sitting there talking to working with these kids, who we later learn is like, the former leader of the city. I wish there was a little bit more build up with like what they've gone through. There's not a lot of backstory there. That was kind of one of my only complaints of like the backstory here. But he eventually gets to the magistrate. I think at this point, right?
Yeah.
So he's the magistrate is there talking to him.
She wants to have audience with him. Yeah.
Trying to convince him to help her with the situation with the Jedi. And she's got this big metal rod, who we later find out is a Beskar staff weapon. She offers this shows it to Mando, and offers it in exchange for basically taking care of the Jedi we're going to see later.
Yep. I didn't like
old-fashioned headhunting.
Yes. It seemed like the area that the magistrate kind of hangs out in was a little on the nose, as far as like, or I guess not on the nose. It's more a cliche, like, oh, there's a koi pond and you're on this little path, like this little serene escape. Like, this is Star Wars.
Forbidden City kind of esque.
Yeah, like I felt like are we in Kill Bill? What's going on here? This is a little.
It did have a Kill Bill vibe to it for sure.
I didn't really love that. It's Star Wars. You could do anything with it. It's a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It doesn't have to be a Kill Bill recreation or samurai. I don't know. I just was seemed a little cliche to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
they've been doing that a lot with. I think the daughter of the person who made Apollo 13 handled one of the recent episodes where it had like, I think there's 3, where like the episode starts with like the Mandalorian ship like just completely beats a helm, like basically crashing from orbit.
Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
you don't discount the star of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Not only is she a great director, she's a subpar actor too.
Well, but in that episode, like they seem to do a lot of shot for shot recreations as homages. So like when the Razor Crest was coming in from orbit, they basically did a shot for shot recreation in Apollo 13. And then in this episode, the reason why I bring it up is a lot of like Kurosawa samurai films. Someone, like not only drew the parallels, but you can see like exact screenshots. It was like 1-to-1 shot for shot, like some old samurai films. They did like shot for shot recreations with Ahsoka, and really just tried to hammer home, that part of Star Wars heritage and that kind of inspiration in when it was first made. It's it's something that won't really go. Like most people aren't going to notice unless you're like looking for it, and I just looked at Reddit to find out about it, so it went over my head too.
Yeah.
But I think they're just it's subtle enough nods or like respect to the shows that came before. But yeah,
I feel like I need to watch some Kurosawa because I don't necessarily get the references all the time.
I've never seen it. I could like send a picture of the screenshot or whatever.
Yeah. It just seemed a little unimaginative to me. Like do we need, I mean, I don't know. It's a film, sure, you're blending, different films into, but to me it's like it's Star Wars. It's its own thing. Like we could make anything. The universe is endless. I mean, there's zero, like there's literally no there's basically no limitation to what you could have, like I just seemed a little, I don't know. Is there koi fish in that pond? there's not even a Star Warsy creature in the pond. Like, I don't know. Like it just seemed like a little on the nose. But anyway, I digress.
You're very anti-pond, Brick. I'm learning this today.
I hate koi fish. No.
When we worked at PetSmart, you know, we had a lot of time with these fish.
Oh man.
Next scene is Mando walking in to find Ahsoka Tano. He's walking through these smoldering woods, and this part for me felt kind of scary. Like, I know Ahsoka Tano, I know like she's not going to just like come out and like, you know, totally beat the shit out of you or whatever, but like it did have like a horror movie kind of vibe, because like you don't know where she's gonna come from. She's gonna come out of nowhere. I'm waiting for a jump scare to come in,
Right.
But once she does come in, she comes in fierce, and they have a pretty cool fight sequence, I think, between the two of them. Just like the lightsaber on the Beskar and him throwing flames at her. Her cloak kind of catches fire at one point. Apparently is flame retardant because it doesn't stay very long. And then he wraps her up in the fiber cord whips. I thought that was pretty cool. She force jumps her way out of it and then kind of dangles him on a branch as a pulley. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then eventually he's like, I was sent by Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't you say that first?
Right.
You could avoid this whole thing.
He was caught
pretty cool,
unawares.
Yeah, pretty cool little fight sequence, I thought.
Yeah.
She sees the child and says that she hopes this whole thing is about him. I thought her entry here was very fun, very cool. So far, every scene with her, I thought has been spot on. The fight sequences, the way she wields, the way she moves, I think fits the Clone Wars stuff very well. It was weird not hearing the same voice actor, you know, for her, because Ashley Eckstein. They were thinking Ashley Eckstein was going to like voice over on Rosario Dawson. I'm like, you can't have an actress like as Rosario Dawson get voiced over. Come on, that's not going to work. Just go with it. Some of these like diehard fans of the Clone Wars think that Ashley Eckstein is just like this goddess that like everything has to fall with her. So whatever.
Well, she's quite a bit. This is quite a bit after the Clone Wars, so she's quite a bit older, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally. She's not going to have that high voice anymore.
No, because she was a teenager, right?
Yeah. Next scene is kind of a calmer scene. This is where Ahsoka and and Baby Yoda are kind of sitting down, trying to have like a connection. They're meditating together, or Ahsoka's trying to meditate into him. She learns a little bit about him, his past, that he was being raised as a Jedi on Coruscant before the Clone Wars. And we learn his name, which I didn't expect this to come out in the episode at all. His name is Grogu, and I was like, oh shit. Wait, what did she say? And then he comes up again later. I was like, oh wow, he's got a name now. Like
Grogu.
This like character who we've like kind of revered and like watched and like finally has a name.
Yep, it was a good reveal.
Oh, that's so too. So he was taken from the temple and hidden from the Empire for many years. She talks about how she's met only one version of the species before, obviously Yoda. So I thought that was kind of a cool scene. It was kind of softer and gave you a little bit of connection of like his background. A lot of character development there for like, you know, this puppet who we don't really know much about besides he's fucking adorable, you know, so.
Throwing Yaddle under the bus.
Yeah.
Never met her.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Yaddle. Who the fuck knows what happened to Yaddle?
Council member, by the way.
When are we getting Yaddle in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes?
Please, no. Yaddle does nothing.
Galactic Legend Yaddle.
Saddle up with Yaddle.
Special move. Sit there and do nothing with a wig on.
You just did CG Doja Fett's job for him, or CG Crumb. I guess it could be a lot of different people could post that, you know.
Yeah, Crumb's like, Yaddle.
Saddle up with
before.
Yaddle. Let's do it, boys. All right.
After that scene, obviously Mando's wanting him to get some more training. He's talking about how like he's seen him do all these unexplainable things. So Ahsoka leads the two of them into a forest. She puts Grogu down, she throws a stone to him slowly through the force, and tries to get him to throw it back. He doesn't, but he does kind of like grab the ball from Mando, which is kind of cool. So like he's not willing to do things with Ahsoka right now. I don't know if it's because he's trying to like hide his Force ability. You know, doesn't necessarily trust her, but he does trust Mando. And
they did kind of mention that, like he's over these years he's developed ways of masking the Force.
He's had to kind of blend in, or else he'll get found out.
Yep.
Yeah. Kind of moving along. So we know that scene with that ball grab or whatever. They then decide, Ahsoka and Mando decide to form an alliance together, which obviously we know at this point is probably going to happen once the fight is over and nobody hurts each other. You kind of know they're gonna ally together and take on this magistrate.
I mean, Mando's main objective is to return the child to the Jedi, and you know he's not going to let anything get in the way of that, even if it means a Beskar rod, which he doesn't fight with.
Yeah. I still like they're striking an alliance to fight this magistrate, but like I still don't buy in. I don't really care about this magistrate or these people, to be honest. I feel like they kind of like lacked that a little bit, is like not building up this town and making me care about these people. Like I don't give a shit about these people. And like, who is this magistrate and where did she come from? We don't really know much about her, you know?
What did you say about the leak? There was I can skip this if we don't want to say it. There was a leak from a makeup artist who maybe leaked a detail that wasn't meant to be leaked, or it might just be fake too. It's also completely possible. Should I say it or should I?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. What do you think?
So supposedly the magistrate is one of the last survivors of Dathomir.
Oh.
They say in the episode that her people were massacred during the Clone Wars, and
no shit.
The makeup artist who supposedly, or like the hairstylist who like shout out the makeup artist who did do her makeup work, said directly, and like, you know, they were plugging their work that they did for the episode, and they said specifically the magistrate was one of the last survivors of Dathomir. So that could be completely fake. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, that's kind of cool though.
It adds a little bit, but they didn't say it in the episode, so I think everything you said is still completely, of course, valid. They don't give you a reason to care. Really.
No, that's my thing. Is like, why do I care if they overthrow this magistrate? Like, fuck these people. I don't know who they are. Like, there's plenty of people suffering in this galaxy. Like, what's one more little city here? So, little city state.
For all intents and purposes, we'll get to that later.
I do think the city itself, the way they set this whole thing up, obviously it's been around for a while, but like, it's definitely, for the technology they have at the time, not set up to defend anything. Because like any Mandalorian with a jetpack can just come over these gates, you know, like what are we doing here with these like these stone gates? Like, come on, this is not protecting you from anything. That was just my annoyingness there. So they do eventually they strike an alliance. They come back into Caladan and try to liberate the people. We got some fights here and there, some minor skirmishes. Eventually Ahsoka gets into this main forbidden area with the magistrate.
Ahsoka, you're skipping over a very important detail. She chops bell the fucking half, bro.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And it falls on the ground and goes dong. So
it was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, I guess. I do like how reckless her lightsaber is. I like that. It's like that sweeping, like, I love the destruction. I mean, who doesn't love pure destruction of caused by a lightsaber? You know.
I mean, I love when gigantic things are just totally crushed by lightsabers. You know, you can just cut through like a doorway, stone.
Yeah, you stick it in there. They're coming through. You're melting. You know, Newt Gunray shit in his pants. You know, that's a cool scene. You've got in Galaxy of Heroes, you've got Sidious doing his sweeping AOE, which is still one of the dopest looking attacks in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, chopping down trees and shit like Rey does with when she's in the beginning of Rise of the Skywalker. She's
Dude, trees
chucking
aren't
that labor.
nothing. Ahsoka was killing trees in this forest. Come on.
She was, but I'm agreeing. Like
Nothing.
that looked sweet.
She's a lumberjack.
She's chopping through bells and shit.
She needs to wear a flannel. Is what she needs to wear. It's more fitting for what she's doing there.
It's a modest. It's an honest living being a
Yeah.
lumberjack
Yeah.
on Corvus.
So first, it's Ahsoka coming in, and Ahsoka tries to play off that like she had killed Mando, and then he failed the mission of killing her.
Yeah.
By throwing down his pauldron, right?
The Mudhorn
Which I thought
Pauldron.
was kind of a cool little play. Obviously, like if you're deceived by that, you're an idiot. I guess they could be deceived by it because they don't know what's going on.
Sure.
Mando then lands with his jetpack, which is fucking awesome. I thought that was a really cool entry. Anytime anybody comes in on a jetpack, it's just like, yeah, you're cool. So there is a little mini fights here and there, and then this this goon of the magistrate, his name is Lang, and Mando eventually end up in kind of a standoff.
Yeah.
I did think this dialogue was corny but kind of cool, where they're listening to like Ahsoka and the magistrate fighting.
It felt unique to me.
Yeah, it was a little bit different. And they're just like, oh, I wonder who's gonna win, you know, like what side are we on? Does it really matter? And then the rod eventually falls. He's like, oh, looks like your side won.
Yeah, there
I think-
are. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I don't know if it was at that point where he sets his rifle down to kind of fake like he's given up. Mando he's not gonna buy that nonsense. And then
Those types of, like that scene was. I did think it was unique in that they were waiting to hear how the fight was playing out, but it was very gunslinger, very, like a western, but again, sort of trite. I guess I'm not a big fan of the callbacks to non-genre things. Like I don't know, like breaking genre to do generic things with it, like. Little cheesy and like we didn't even talk about.
You mean?
Yeah, and like last episode, we didn't even really talk about the last episode. Like, there's a lot of cheesy action lines in it. That I don't know. At the same time, it is an action show. It's an action-oriented show, so there is going to be some cheesy dialogue in there, and it's not going to be perfect for what I would want to see. I guess. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking here, but it just seemed a little trite.
Yeah, they're doing what they seemingly set out to do, and like whether or not you agree that that's the right choice, you can't really go much beyond that. I disagree with a lot of it as well, but like again, they're doing what they wanted to do, and they seem to be doing it well enough that it's like sure.
Right.
I disagreed that like because Star Wars was kind of a samurai homage, kind of a cowboy homage, so this is just, like leaning really hard into that, and just like I get it, I respect it. I still think television has evolved a lot since then in ways that you could potentially work with, or like you can do an homage without like you can still acknowledge the passage of time and how things have progressed since then, and like incorporate elements without necessarily just direct emulation,
right? And not make it utterly predictable. Like, okay, who thought that Lang was gonna actually shoot Mando in that scene? Like, okay,
I hope that nothing was gonna happen. I hope that he was gonna be down to negotiate his way out, or stay alive for another day and find another deal. Like, I was actually a little bit disappointed when he got gunned down, even though it's like I don't care about the character, but it's just like that was the predictable outcome that I was hoping they wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
Lang was a little bitch the whole time. Like nobody was scared of him at all, right? Like, was anybody afraid of this guy? Like, they tried to play him up and then give him these like directorial like shots to make him look like he was strong and this like fearsome guy, but like,
well,
he
Mando
didn't do anything.
references him as a hired gun, and like as he's warning Ahsoka. But like,
I can be a hired gun.
Yeah,
Just give me
didn't
some
really.
money and I can carry my gun with me. Like that's not nothing.
I thought he was gonna be. I thought he was Dengar because of the neck wrappings. Like maybe he got his head healed up or whatever was happening, like up top. Like
Dengar would be so old at that point.
I know. Yeah, I did.
Like 90.
I didn't line up, but like the armor looked kind of similar. Maybe I don't know. I thought that would be interesting, but. Anyway,
only big thing out of that kind of scene that we didn't talk about though is Ahsoka Tano demands that the magistrate gives up her information about her master.
Yeah, she fights her in a like a one-on-one battle.
How does Ahsoka lose a lightsaber in this battle against this Beskar rod? That was throwing me off a little
Maybe
bit.
Homegirl knows some.
Star Wars is arbitrary, man.
Yeah.
You start asking questions that there aren't answers to. It's just
I did want to see a koi jump up and eat lightsaber,
You're the lightsaber turned back on.
and then another
Fucking
fish comes up, a
stupid
bigger
koi
fish.
There's always a bigger fish.
There's always a bigger fish, or there's no fish in our case with our fishing trip.
Yeah, we went fishing and we caught jack shit. I didn't even catch a buzz.
Well, you only had one beer.
That's true. Normally, at least you can catch a buzz, but
there's an easy solution to that.
More beer. So
Or
when
whiskey.
I did mention though, she was talking about the whereabouts of the magistrate's master, and the master is Grand fucking Admiral Thrawn.
Yep.
And I was like, holy shit, I didn't expect this at all. Like, there's so many things that happened in this episode that like I did not think were gonna happen, which is why I liked it in the end. There were some definite flaws in this episode, but holy shit, Grand Admiral Thrawn might be in this this series.
It
Pretty exciting.
we have firmly planted that this is now the Filoniverse, and I hope that mattered to you in advance, because if not,
Yeah.
we'll see.
I don't see Thrawn being a major feature in the series, though. I think maybe they're planning something for him, like you know.
So
they might-
Katana spinoff for Disney Plus could very easily happen. Yeah,
That's what
this
I'm
could
saying.
very easily just be set up. Yeah,
yeah.
You're not bringing Rosario Dawson in as like a a character, like a kind of character in a show that comes on once in a while. Like if you get Rosario Dawson, you're gonna put her like as a main feature in like a movie series. Thrawn, whoever they cast for Thrawn, if they do show him on screen, he's gonna eventually get like a series or a movie like feature. So
yep. Just one episode, they're like, all right, Rosario, that was great. Hope to work with you in the future sometime.
appreciate
Maybe
you
we'll
coming
call
on here.
you. This has been great.
don't call us, we'll call you. It's not gonna happen that way. We know that. Come on.
I did like her confidence as Ahsoka. Like I thought
Yeah.
that really came through, like her calm demeanor, but also just absolute confidence in whatever she's doing. Like you see the maturity in Ahsoka Tano. Oh shit! Oh, all right. Dropped
That
the
wasn't
key.
the whiskey, was it?
Dropped a keyboard. Nope. Whiskey
Okay.
is intact.
Good.
I'm talking with my hands. It happens. But yeah, I liked her a lot as Ahsoka Tano. I thought it made a lot of sense. It looked good. I don't know. I thought the makeup was good too. I thought I liked it, man. I was into it.
Just because it was mentioned in chat just now, my idea earlier where I was like, let's save it for the spoiler section, is that I do think like a Thrawn from the Mando series might end up being like the Galactic Legend or the Journey Continues thing that ends up coming out of this in the game.
I think we'll get Gideon. It really like so the problem with this season to me so far is when you look at season 1, there were characters that were introduced, there were characters that came back. All those characters made it into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2 so far, I don't know that there's been any through line at all in between episodes at all.
True.
So could easily have Bo-Katan, could easily have Ahsoka Tano. Gideon, we already know is confirmed. Gideon is like the most consistent character in the show, aside from Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I thought he
And
was going to
then
be the main, the legendary, but
Yeah, he seemed like the natural choice, but I think Journey just makes the most sense.
You want Dr. Pershing? I made a kit for Dr. Pershing back in the day.
Engineer returned. Also true.
Yeah.
What about the
Very true
client?
Time Force.
He gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, he's not around anymore.
And anytime that he, why am I blanking on his name? Oh, I
Werner
feel bad for
Herzog?
even blanking. Werner Herzog.
Yeah.
I always know
Werner.
his name. Anytime he was on screen, basically, if he was in that episode, I assumed it was going to be a good episode.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
for
so
sure.
awesome.
He ate of the screen time. He played it perfectly.
Yep.
Just
He rules, man.
Totally.
But yeah, so like we have a list of characters who have been either name dropped or potentially showing up in season 2, or will probably show up in season 2. I don't know if we want to dip all the way into spoilers, but it's fairly easy to assume that we're probably going to get like Ezra Sabine showing up as well.
Mhm. Yeah,
just
I would say
based
so.
on
Yep.
they did like a cheesy like Marvel setup where it's like they'll never expect a Jedi and a Mandalorian, and it's like
Mhm.
okay, dude, okay. Okay. But so far it's like if we're predicting, because CG has already like given us like for once, like we actually have like direct confirmation, like, hey, we're gonna be doing stuff from season 2. We're not gonna tell you what yet. And it's like, okay, we've got big name drops, we've got big name characters showing up, but it's like, if Ahsoka's a one-off, does she buy herself a new appearance in Galaxy of Heroes yet? Like, of course, people are gonna want it. I have zero doubt at that. But it's like, is CG gonna do that though? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Like, if she doesn't come back and like,
Ahsoka?
right, like, think about like season 1 structure, like, right, like everyone came together at the end. It's like, if this is all we see of Ahsoka, do we think that CG would make a character out of her? I'm not sure. People would want it. I have no doubt of that.
There's plenty of more throwaway characters than this Ahsoka, but yes, I hear where you're coming from.
Yeah.
TBD location. Prime Force also very true. CG announced for a Galactic Challenge that they weren't willing to say what planet yet, so that could be spoiler related. Could very easily just be like Corvus, and they just didn't want to say Corvus yet.
Maybe.
It's on the Chimera.
I mean, thinking just like big picture, like if they are gonna do a new Ahsoka Tano release, like she would be a Jedi. I mean, conceivably, right? Would like, there's tons of people that have Jedi Jamal. I mean, over Seep. So like,
it seems like a lot. It's a crazy ratio.
yeah, isn't it like 70? I don't know. It's up there, 70% compared to
people like their Luke, so I should not be surprised, of course. But still, I would be surprised. I felt like it would probably be like more like a 50-50 split because Palpatine was an easier pickup.
Right, for sure. Yeah, way less requirements.
It's hilariously less.
Yeah.
Less gear, less requirements, just like across the
yeah. It's crazy. Like, relic levels, characters, you name it. Like, it's way easier. But I just wonder, like, if they brought another Jedi for people to toy with, within, for Jamal, like, people would jump at that. I mean, I'm just thinking from CG's perspective, like, that would make a lot of sense. But whether that's, legendary worthy or its own separate character, I don't know. Or is Ahsoka Fulcrum? Is that what is Fulcrum? Is that a different?
It's like Rebels era.
Okay, so this would be this like a veteran almost Ahsoka.
It would have to be, it'd be a new iteration. I can't see them doing a whole like redo of the kit for Fulcrum.
Okay, because I haven't watched Rebels yet, so I'm unaware of.
It could justify it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But at the very least, I think what we could all agree on here is CG saying, "Hey, we got plenty of season 2 characters coming, but we're not going to tell you what yet." I think episode 3, episode 5. That gets you thinking real hard, real quick. We're moving to places where it's like, okay, we got some clear candidates.
Yeah.
And what could that look like?
Yeah.
Frog Lady for sure.
Yes. All right. Sorry. Go ahead. Was that it?
There's one more scene. Nothing really happens huge in it, but this is when Ahsoka's kind of like getting the guy who used to run the city back into power. Mando is kind of like getting Grogu ready to kind of be shipped off. He's really trying hard to get this child shipped off to Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
But it doesn't quite work. So
not into it. She sticks by her guns, which, you know what, I kind of respect in a way, because, that's the truth. I mean, Anakin should have never been trained. In all reality, I mean, granted, we wouldn't have Star Wars and all of this excitement that we're currently discussing, but. It speaks to Ahsoka's character as being a moral, upstanding follower of the rules and regulations set forth, for her. It makes sense.
So yeah, she obviously does. She comes to the crest, but then refuses to train him. But she's like, there is one other way. If you take him to the Seeing Stone on the planet Tython, it's got a strong connection to the Force. Grogu can decide his own fate. I was like, don't let that child decide his own fate. He's been like force choking Cara Dune. Like, he's going to pick the wrong path. But she does say that hopefully a Jedi will kind of reach out to him through that. So I thought that was kind of a cool way to end the whole episode here.
It was cool, but also vague. Like, maybe they'll reach out. It's like, so what am I going to do? I'm just going to hang out on this fucking Jedi-sensitive planet and just hope for somebody, or Force-sensitive planet, and hope somebody comes out and from the
Well, it's either
ether?
going to be Kenobi or Ezra, right?
It's going to be Ezra. At this point, if it's
You don't think
something
they show
Filoni-
you don't think they show Kenobi though to like then bridge you to the Kenobi series? Like that's a Disney play right
okay,
there, you know?
that's actually a good take.
Yeah.
But I think I'm parked in the Filoni camp of Filoni will incorporate what he has worked on in the past.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
Could very easily be either.
Who plays Ezra though? That's my question.
There was some actor that I know the fans were like pining for. I'm not sure though.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan.
Ooh.
He's too old.
I don't know the name. But there was some like actual actor that got the blessing of the voice actor from the cartoon to play Ezra. I know
Okay.
that much. I know that's not helpful. Did you see the Lost Cat? Yeah, this episode had a lot of like. There was some like what from the cartoon. There was some bird that followed Ahsoka, and that the sounds of that bird were also in the episode as well. Like they are just like full blown leaning on the cartoon now.
Yeah.
Well, it's. I think we got a lot of information about, obviously, now, Grogu. I guess, like as far as, essentially, it's like a mentally, what's the word? Like somehow or another, like their brain was tampered with by somebody. Like there's memory loss there. So like at one time, Grogu was being trained as a Jedi, and now it's essentially damaged. And like even Ahsoka says, maybe it's better to let, the Force dwindle, or I forget how she words it, but to let the Force fade from their memory or something like that. Which we're getting a lot of backstory about who the child is, how Grogu is, and where they came from, how they came to be, how they wound up in an egg shape thing, and with a bunch of random thugs, essentially. When Mando finds it, so it's filling in some of the blanks, which I liked.
About time as well.
Ninja Emus in chat said that Robert Pattinson is going to be playing Ezra Bridger.
There is
Nope.
a likeness. No, there isn't actually.
Not quite.
But yeah, what were your guys' overall impressions of the episode?
I thought it was super fun. Besides like me not caring about the people and the magistrate, I thought the Ahsoka Tano reveal was unexpected, cool. I liked how they finally told us the name of the child. The Thrawn mention, like I was jumping out of my seat when that happened. So it was very, very cool. 6-star
Out of 5, or what are we talking here?
out of 7.
Yeah, we go character stars. What'd you think, Fatal?
I just don't have that much affinity for the cartoons. Honestly, so if I could soapbox for a second, I really, maybe this is because I was a book reader as well, but a lot of the books and the movies and just a lot of everything, even KOTOR, right? Like if you go into like KOTOR, which is supposed to be like thousands of years in the past, we still have like, here's your Han Solo stand-in, here's your Chewbacca stand-in. It was just like, I really just kind of craved Star Wars stuff that would just do its own thing, make its unique characters.
Yeah.
Mandalorian season 1, for the most part, did that entirely. I don't think there was any real repeats. We get to season 2, and suddenly, like, I guess whatever, man. Like, I guess like Clone Wars stuff does fit the bill of what I'm saying of unique characters that weren't like OT movie references, but it still just felt like this season suddenly just has a very Filoni ring to it, which isn't bad in itself, but it's just like I was hoping for more like unique universe building rather than just like suddenly we're just like taking a hard right towards like Thrawn, Ahsoka, probably Ezra, probably Sabine, Bo-Katan, which like I think could make a good show in its own right, but I guess this was kind of inevitable. And I mean, it'll be fun, but it suddenly feels like it has a different flavor, or like, I don't know, maybe they're just going to kind of merge everything together where like Grief, Kara will be existing with or alongside Ezra,
Yeah.
Kara, and they're just sort of fleshing out that cast. And like in that case, I think it kind of works out well. But
Yeah.
we're at like a wait and see moment.
For sure, because you don't really know how Ahsoka's going to play into this long
Totally.
term. You don't know how Thrawn's going to play into it, but like the mention of it, I think is exciting because like to have like some of these things kind of come together. Because like I don't feel like Thrawn really necessarily got his due in Rebels. Like the novels are fucking amazing, but like he's just kind of like played around with in Rebels, and like he's such a deep character that I think has a lot of potential for live action stuff that I just maybe it doesn't fit Mando, but like I'm just excited that it's like mentioned at least that like maybe we'll get to see him live action soon.
It shows an ambition that just feels like, okay, like you have my attention now. Like,
Yeah,
what
sure.
are we doing with this?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I that's all I had. Do you guys have any parting thoughts?
No, we got 3 more episodes left, right? 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah. Yep.
So-
That's maybe the one thing I'm concerned about is like
We're over the hump, but we haven't gone anywhere.
exactly. It's just like that is the Mandalorian. I think that's always going to be the Mandalorian. If you're expecting like fast plot progress, I think that's maybe not gonna be the show for you.
I mean, I thought the Darksaber was going to be like the main feature of the season, and like it hasn't really been mentioned, has it?
Hey, remember when Boba was the big reveal stinger for the first episode?
Yeah.
And we just never saw him
Yeah,
again.
that's
That was
cool.
funny.
Who was that? Who was it? Olga? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like hitting you over the head with reference so fast. They're just like, look at this. What?
Yeah.
What? No. Just look at this now.
It's gonna all get tied together in episode 7 and 8. You're good. You're fine.
This is
There's
just
gonna be,
gonna become like
there's gonna be one more throwaway episode. The next episode won't matter. 7 and 8 though, we're gonna clear it all up.
7 and 8. Boba, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, Ezra, Sabine are all gonna show up, and everyone's
They're all gonna
like,
sit down for
all
Thanksgiving
here
dinner and talk about all of their qualms.
Yep. Well, that's about it, guys.
Yep.
You want to raid somebody? We've got Ando, or we probably have Gum of Operation Metaverse. You guys have a
Either one.
preference?
Either or.
I think let's raid Ando. Why not?
All right, let's
you
do
know,
it.
as your former opponent, Fatal, I just want to keep you guys intertwined forever. I don't know. I guess.
I've seen, watching Ando playing as my defense, I've seen things people wouldn't believe. I legitimately owe my entire 3v3 season to CLS. Not Jedi Master Luke, not Jedi Knight Luke. Those characters ain't shit. CLS
CLS is the best.
legitimately hard carried my season. I am
Nice.
not joking when I say this.
Yeah. What comp did you use again? You used CLS 3PO?
CLS 3PO and Chupio.
And
And I
Chupio.
gave
yeah.
CLS, I gave him Tenacity Cross and Crit Avoidance Arrow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And that boy was just down with anything you throw at him. Chupio was dead. And him and C-3PO went like 2 or 3 more battles.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
That was honestly almost a highlight for me.
That's great. Yeah, you guys have faced twice so far, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, once in 3v3, I don't know that anyone really reads into 3v3 results.
Nice.
It is what it is.
Yeah. 3v3 gonna 3v3. Darky, you want to send them out? And real quick, thank you, Fatal, again, for being on the podcast
Yes.
again.
This was a ton of fun. This was a blast.
Glad
I'm gonna
you had a
re-listen to
good
this
time, man.
episode several times so I can like take in all of the things that you said.
I didn't even take you the things I said.
We've got some whiskey in us, you know. You can't be.
Yeah.
You can't be. Oh, I just got warned on our own chat to follow the rules. I'm just putting your links again in chat. If anybody's on Twitter or on Twitch, on Twitch who isn't aware of your links, I just linked your YouTube, Discord, and your Twitch. So check him out. He's putting out great content. We definitely appreciate you for coming on again.
Thanks for having me on.
Anytime, man.
Yeah,
And
that was awesome. Thank
Dark
you.
It, if you want to send them out,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll get Ando queued up here.
Sounds good. All right, so Galaxy of Beeroes can be found at all social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Hit us on Discord. You can find that link on our Instagram. We have a Patreon if you want to buy some drinks for us. Don't forget, if you are a Patreon subscriber, we offer our Galaxy of Beeroes koozies
Oh yeah.
with a sparkle print and soon to be gold sparkle print that we're going to be hosting up soon in our holiday specials. We got some ideas for everybody that will be thrown out on Instagram very, very shortly. So,
And Fatal, if you want one, you'll get one for free.
That looks extremely snazzy. I could use that.
Yeah.
Do you have one like bottle size so I could just like wrap
Oh
this?
yeah.
we need to get whiskey bottle koozies.
We should. Oh, nice. Yes, we do. All right. Well, we'll figure that out after the show. Thanks again, Fatal, and thanks again for everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys. We're gonna raid Ando now.
All right, let's do it.
Raid now.
Rating.
We're raiding.
His title, let's not talk about threes.
Yeah, I love it. All right, and we can end the stream.